Hello team and welcome back to the Football Social live on Soccer M and Football Daily's YouTube pages. Huge game today.
Huge.
Could be a massive outcome in terms of securing Champions League football. Joining us is Clinton Morrison with a wry smile on his face. Part of the furniture now. He's of course Mr. Tottenham for today, aren't you? How are you, sir? You said that Tottenham's chances were 5% before we went live. Has it crept up to 10?
Yeah, it's crept up to fair after.
Wow,
I got a sneak preview of the team, that's why, so I'm quite confident.
Bring in the positive vibes in the absence of any from Dave Jackson, who's just watched Arsenal draw with Burnley. But more of that later. And making his Football Social debut, it's Nicky Weevil. 350 career appearances to his name, but this is the one that matters. Number one. This is it. Football Social, one of many. You must be a bit more confident than Clinton on the sofa.
Yeah, to be honest, it's going to be a difficult game, but I don't see City not winning. So, Pep v Jose, but I think Pep will come out on top.
Trying to be understated. Love that. Love that. David, how are you,
mate,
sir?
I'm all right. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm all right. You know.
OK, we'll revisit Arsenal in just a second.
Thank you.
He's still not the most talkative. Will?
Hi, mate, all right?
Yeah, great. Thank you very much. You're looking lovely in person.
Thank you, mate, yeah. Brings out my eyes, that's what my mum says.
Never know what you're going to come out with. How can people get in touch? You know, people that aren't your mum?
Yes, well, my mum or anyone at home, if you want to get in touch at Football Daily, at Soccer AM, using the hashtag TFS. I've got the stream right in front of me, so get your questions in for the panel.
Lovely, jubbly, great intro, good energy. Love that. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, hit subscribe right now. And of course, we'll endeavour to get all your questions asked as the show moves on. Let's check up on yesterday's results.
Oh, what a day it was.
Because it was an action-packed day of football. Leicester and Chelsea playing out a very entertaining 2-2 draw at the King Power, though Harvey Barnes probably should have won it for Leicester. Never mind, I've forgotten all about it. Bournemouth and Aston Villa. Bournemouth coming out on top in that relegation battle. Liverpool absolutely decimating Southampton. A couple of great team goals in that. Oxlade-Chamberlain in particular, and fine fettle, isn't he? Newcastle Norwich, probably, you know, let's just skirt right over that. Played out a board draw. And Everton stealing 3 points at Watford. And that was a smash and grab, wasn't it? At the very end, your man Theo Walcott ensuring that Carlo Ancelotti's men come out with 3 points. Brighton and West Ham, a 3-3 draw. Entertaining for the neutral, but West Ham fans must be getting very nervous now. They've, of course, fallen into the bottom three. And David Moyes has a very sizable task on his hands. Man United Wolves, 0-0. Fernandez's debut. And that's about it, to be honest. Let's have a little chat about the game today then, gentlemen. So, you're a little bit more confident, you know. How do you think the game can be? How do you think Tottenham can find those fine margins in this game today?
It's difficult. It's going to be a hard game. Listen, anyone that plays...
Sorry, Clinton, we're just revisiting the Burnley-Arsenal game. I forgot to ask David Jackson about...
you don't want to talk about it.
About that board draw. David, what's happened? Because Jay Rodriguez, pictured there, missed an absolute sitter at the end,
I think the draw was probably about a fair result. Arsenal had some good chance of picking the first half, where if we would have taken them, it would have been a bit of a different game. Burnley played well, to be fair. They had an I don't really understand how he's missed, to be honest. Jay Rodriguez, where he's kind of ball time over the top. He had to just a tiny bit of composure and just keep it down, essentially. But he didn't hit the bar. So we definitely could have lost this game. The frustration from an Arsenal point of view is the teams around that top four, they are continuing to drop points and we're not making the most of it. We're not going to get in the 3 points, actually starting to claw back some a league position. But, you know, we've got a decent run to come now. I'm back on the positive now after a little sulk for 5 minutes. But we can't really complain, you know. We could have easily lost that as well.
David
so
Jackson.
A point is better than no points.
Tough place to go.
In the building, though. It is a tough place to go. I think you've only won one of your last 16 away games, so surely you weren't expecting, you know, any major
I was expecting to win. I was expecting to win,
Okay.
but again, maybe that's a bit arrogant. And as I say, it's a very tough place to go, and the point is better than none.
There we have it. The silver lining has been discovered. OK, let's have a look at the table then. Let's see where this leaves teams that played on Saturday. Like we said, West Ham falling into the relegation zone, along with Watford and Norwich. Norwich is looking pretty ominous for them, but pretty tight elsewhere, isn't it? Burnley, very valuable point for them. That puts them 11th. Top of the table then is Liverpool by an absolutely outstanding 22 points, a record at this point. Man City will be hoping to make that 19. OK, Tottenham, though, 3 points would see them leapfrog their Champions League rivals Sheffield United and narrow the gap on Chelsea. Like Dave said, opportunity strikes once more for someone seeking to get in the top 4. Can Tottenham capitalise on Chelsea's draw at the King Power that we spoke about earlier? Right, let's have a little chat about West Ham first and foremost, because they find themselves in a very similar situation to last season. Brought in a couple of new faces. Jared Bowen arriving from Hull. Can you tell us all about him, Will? Because, of course, you are our resident Championship expert.
Yeah, been serving time for quite a long time now in the Championship. So I've watched Jared Bowen grow into a great player. I think you just look at his goal contributions, goals and assists. He gets himself involved in both of it. So I think we had Carlton Cole on yesterday. He was saying it'd be a valuable asset for someone like Sebastian Haller, who's not had the best of service coming from those wings. So get him involved. And, I mean, it's a tough time to come in, isn't it, in January when they've just slipped into the relegation zone. But hopefully he can go
why
on.
did he not go to Crystal Palace?
You tell me. You're the Palace head. I mean, sure.
It was done and dusted, and then West Ham came from nowhere. So
is that not maybe more of a direct replacement for Zaha, and he thought he wasn't going to get the playing time?
You're right, though. I've watched a lot of Bowen in the Championship. He scores goals, and he's done it for the last couple of seasons. I think he's a good player. I was happy. I thought I can't see him being an ideal replacement for Zaha. I think Zaha's he's on that kind of level at the moment. But I think Palace need to sign young players. And he scores goals, and Palace don't have goal scorers in their team at the moment. So I think it would have been a good signing.
They've got a really tough run coming up, haven't they, West Ham? And of course, Seb Haller has been starved of service because Anderson has been injured. So a very welcome addition there. Darren Randolph returning to the club, Nicky. Were you surprised to see that happen? Of course, had their injury problems, haven't they?
Fabianski's been a huge miss for him when he missed the 8 or 10 games, massive. And Rodrigo coming, it just didn't happen for him, and he's now gone back out on loan to Spain. Randolph's come in. He knows the club know him, he's a safe pair of hands, and if anything does happen to Fabianski, then he's a more than able deputy. So I think it's a good move for West Ham and a good move for Darren as well.
Fair enough. How hard is it to step in as a number 2 when you've not had a run of games? Of course, Fabianski was injured for quite some time. Did you have any sympathy for the flack that the West Ham number 2 faced during that time? Yeah,
I always got sympathy for when goalkeepers get flack. Someone who's, I had plenty of flack in my time. So, I felt for him, but clearly, no disrespect to him, and I don't want to dig him out, he's probably the worst goalkeeper I've seen in the Premier League.
Right, OK.
Who was a senior goalkeeper.
Welcome to the show, Nicky.
Again, I don't want to have a pop at him, but they just weren't up to the job. And the results suffered. And, you could almost see in the defenders every time they turn around, they got their head in their hands. And the supporters obviously weren't having him as well. And the fact that David Martin come in and did well, to be fair, just shows what sort of he weren't playing the Championship last year, really. And I like David as well. He's had a good career, but he just wasn't up to the job. So it's so important to have a reliable number 2. Then if anything does happen. Some keepers are okay to go in for 1 or 2 games here and there, but if someone's got to go in for a long period of time, you've got tough games and things aren't going well for you, you've got to have someone who you can, rely on.
And it seemed to lose their trust pretty quickly.
He wasn't reliable, so
it would have been a massive job to win it back. Pick of the bunch yesterday, maybe Chelsea versus Leicester at the King Power. Did you catch any of the game, gentlemen? What do we think to the Champions League pretenders that are Leicester and Chelsea at the moment? Do we think it's going to end third? They're going to end in third and fourth respectively, Clinton? Were you impressed by the football on show in that game?
No, it was good football. I think Leicester will be disappointed they've not come away with the 3 points, because towards the end of the game they were the team that were pushing. You see Harvey Barnes has a great chance. Jamie Vardy does ever so well down the right, crosses it, and Barnes makes not good enough contact, it just goes wide of the post. I think Leicester have been brilliant this season. I think you ask most Leicester fans what they would have wanted this season. Is finishing just outside the top 4 would have been an achievement, but to actually finish in the top 4, I think it will be brilliant. I think it will finish Liverpool, Man City, Leicester, and then fourth is still open. I think it's Chelsea's to lose. If Tottenham get a result today, they're back in it. But it's difficult. And teams like Sheffield United, they've been excellent as well. But going back to the game, Chelsea-Leicester, it was a really good game. Rudiger's come up with 2 really good goals. And I just feel Chelsea should have signed someone in the window. They missed the opportunity of signing a striker. They're too reliant on Tammy Abraham. He's obviously playing with a bit of an injury at the moment. But they've got Olivier Giroud. So if you've got Giroud, why not use him?
Apparently they were really trying to was available for a cut price fee, and it came down to, I think, disagreements with his agents reportedly anyway. But Frank Lampard was not best pleased. So you can see that Chelsea did try and make, additions to their squad, but it didn't quite materialise. Definitely agree with you. Needed someone in that forward department. Leicester missing Ndidi yesterday, so, the result all the more impressive given he's been one of their standout players. Do you think they've done enough to secure third now?
Well, unfortunately, I was there Tuesday night at Villa Park when they faltered against Aston Villa to not get to the Carabao Cup. I don't know. It just even like I've seen him closely that first and second leg. There was like he almost overthought the tactics, Brendan Rodgers. I think, and it was like just get your best players in there, playing in the right positions, and they'll do it. And I don't know. I don't know what it is. Just that je ne sais quoi. There's something missing from them at the moment where they're just faltering a bit. Did get a D in French, so that was quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean they do have like a limited Champions League components to their side.
Yeah.
That might be doing some of the squad a disservice, but you look at, without Ndidi, without Vardy, they might not find themselves in this position. Ricardo's been great on the right-hand side as well. Chilwell, his form started recently, but still been great. Nicky, we spoke about Brendan Rodgers off camera. You've touted him for a bigger job than Leicester, maybe somewhere down the line if he continues, to push Leicester into the Champions League places. Would you take him at Man City if Pep Guardiola left in a couple of years?
Yeah, obviously we're talking
straight in.
A year or two down the line. But the job he's done at Leicester's been fantastic. Obviously, serial winner at Celtic, which you would have expected, to be fair. Nearly did it at Liverpool, so he has been at the top end of the Premier League before. Comes across really well in the press. Players seem to love playing for him. The way he plays football is attractive. I enjoy watching Leicester. And yeah, I can see him in the next 2, 3, 4 years going to one of the major clubs in the country, if not in Europe somewhere.
He's almost got that sort of like, every player that we've had on who's worked with Steve Bruce here has said Steve Bruce is one of the best managers they've ever had, but like in social media world, Steve Bruce gets tarred with that sort of old-fashioned brush. But I also get that feeling with Brendan Rodgers because he's a bit of a part of the meme culture, Dave, if you will. But he's obviously an elite manager, isn't he? That just deserves the big opportunity.
That's what I was going to say to Dave. Would you had him at Arsenal when he was linked to Arsenal? Because I thought he'd have been good. And I think, thinking about it, he probably would have took that Arsenal job.
I think beginning of the season, I would have, like when we still had bloody Unai in charge, I would have probably gone no. But I think. And then, but once looking like Unai was going to go, I would snap your hand off. But I'm actually very happy with the appointment of Arteta. I think he's. Despite us not picking up the results we probably should have picked up since he's been, we're actually playing a very good brand of football. I actually enjoy watching them again. It's not, and they're a lot more solid at the back. It's definitely going to take time for us to get kind of back to top four. I guess on merit, where almost expected to be there. But since Arteta's coming, I've been very, very happy with the appointment. So.
Again, more positivity from Dave. We love that. Let's bring it back to the game in hand, though. It's Tottenham versus Man City at the Tottenham Stadium. Let's have a look at the lineups then. And the big one is Bergwijn starting on the right-hand side. We think it might be the right-hand side. He played an awful lot on the left for PSV. This is his debut since his £27 million move. 15 goal contributions and 16 starts in the Eredivisie this season. Let's hope he can continue that form here. Lo Celso went to start at the base of midfield. It's looking like a very solid side. Let's go over to Manchester City. Talking of solidity, Fernandinho comes back in at centre-half. Of course, missed the last 2 games, Nicky, owing to injury. Does that fill with a bit more confidence?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they've quite come out and said exactly what's up with Laporte. Obviously, he'd come back against Sheffield United, and then they said this fatigue after one game. So I don't know where.
Did take a batter into that.
He did, yeah. So, but when you've been out for a long time, it does take a while to come back in. But yeah, it looks pretty much what you expected. I think when you've got De Bruyne and Aguero in your team, Mahrez has been good lately. Sterling needs a little bit of a spark, I think. I fear for Tottenham, to be honest.
Nice balance to that side, and Nicky Weaver fears for Tottenham. But are people fearing for Tottenham in the comments, Will? Is the general consensus of Manchester City convincing victory?
Yeah, I think so. I think people are very surprised. I think they're just looking to see how Bergwijn can get started and just how they can counteract this.
Because I'm confident of Tottenham being a Tottenham fan. There's got to be one of us out
You've
there.
gone from 5% to 30% to confident.
Yeah, I'm confident now. I'm a Tottenham fan. For 5 minutes, I lost my head. I forgot I was, I thought I was
erratic, but we love it.
Yes, exactly. No, I'm confident. Bergwijn is a good signing. I've seen a lot of him playing in Dutch football and for the national team. He's really good. He's exciting. Tottenham fans, they need to be excited again. I think that would be a really good signing. Pace on the wings, and it's just a centre forward. I wanted Tottenham to bring in a centre forward. forward.
It's
That's what they
strange, isn't
needed.
it?
It's a strange one. Why not? I know Lucas Moura, he can do it, but it's difficult. Sometimes when you're putting crosses in the box, someone like Olivier Giroud would have been a really good signing.
Did you have a dream candidate, or at least a pragmatic candidate?
I would have took Olivier Giroud. I think he needs football going into the Euros in the summer for obviously to play for France, and I think it would have been a great signing. Obviously, his Arsenal connections and also his Chelsea connections might not have gone down well, but I think he would have liked the move, and it would have been a good signing just till the end of the season. Obviously, the problem with Tottenham and signing centre forwards is that when they come back, Harry Kane. It's always Harry Kane. Will they be able to play? But why can't two strikers play together? I know it's changed now because they don't do that. But in my day,
against Liverpool the other week.
That's what I mean.
Son and Moura up top.
That's what I mean. I'd play two strikers together. If you're going to bring in there was Edison Cavani, but I think that was too money. That was too much money to do that deal.
And he has existing knee issues, doesn't he? I think
There
that's
you
put
go.
off a lot of top clubs.
But I'm confident we can get into that top four. Being a Tottenham fan. I hope
Spurs
so.
are good. They didn't get Aguero, aren't they? He's the world-class striker everyone wants and needs, now, isn't he?
What was that, mate? Sorry, missed that. Anyway, we're going to move on to Jose Mourinho. From Will Brazier to Jose Mourinho.
Jose, looks like a very attacking lineup from you, including your new signing, Steven Bergwijn. What's the thinking?
The thinking is to try to be offensive, to try to score goals to win the game, without having a clear striker, a clear target man. So we go with the qualities that we have: fast players, creative players, with good dynamic, with good mobility, and hopefully we can reach our objectives with them.
What should we expect from Bergwijn today? Is he ready to go? Can he hit the ground running?
He has to be, because you don't have many other options. But he was playing for PSV and he's fit. He arrived early in the week. He had this week of work with us to try to understand us better, for us to try to understand him. Happy kid to play. We don't have many options. Even Lamela is on the bench, but not 100%, feeling a little bit of his previous problem. So we go with Bergwijn, with Son, with Dele Alli, with Lucas, with Lo Celso. We go with all of them.
Is there extra incentive for you as well? Because the results in terms of your quest for top four went quite well for you yesterday.
I don't know. I don't think a lot about that. There is a big group. It's not just about top four. I think it's also about the fifth and the sixth. Lots of teams are there. Wolves and Sheffield, they don't speak much, but the quality of their performances and their results make me believe that they're also fighting for these top four and top six. So very, very hard for everybody.
Good luck today.
Thank you.
Jose Mourinho, I think Sheffield United also competing for Europa League football. I don't think he was intimating Champions League football there, but when they make signings like Sander Berg, that's some statement. And as a Sheffield Wednesday legend, does this hurt you seeing Sheffield United this far up the Premier League table? Or are you proud that they're representing that area at the very least?
It's nice that Sheffield's got a team in the Premier League, but I wish it was Wednesday.
Exactly.
I think he's a good signing. He looks, obviously, a lot of clubs around Europe were looking at him. I've watched a few clips of him. He's a big boy, big powerhouse in midfield there, and they're doing fantastic. So what Chris Wilder's done there is unbelievable. And I think if the season was to end tomorrow, it'd be a close runner-up for manager of the season behind Klopp probably, because what he's done, some of them players were playing in League One 2 seasons ago. So to get them to 5th, above Man United and Spurs, after this many games, it's unbelievable, and I don't think you can underestimate how well he's done.
Yeah,
Spot on.
I think everyone would echo those sentiments. Chris Wilder has been a wild card this season. Maybe not for those in the know, but I certainly discounted Sheffield United at the start of the season. Won't be doing that again. Clinton. Let's bring it back to the match then. Bergwijn, do you think he can get at City's full-backs? Because there's some space there. Sometimes that's where we see, a little area of weakness creep in very occasionally. Harbour many aspirations for it?
He could cause Zinchenko a few problems. Yeah, it would be a battle. Obviously, Kyle Walker, for me, Kyle Walker's still a really top-class fullback. He's one of the quickest there is in the Premier League. So even when you go past him, his recovery's that good. he's brilliant. And they'll be wary of that. I think Tottenham will play counter-attacking football. Even though they're at home, I think they'll be defensively strong and have to break with Son, Bergwijn and Lucas Moura, because there is pace in that front three. Dele Alli has to get on the ball and make things happen. I just worry about the midfielder, with the two holding with Lo Celso and Winks. I think Winks is a fantastic little footballer, very good on the ball. But I would have probably played someone like Belly. I like him, the midfielder. He hasn't hit the ground running. He's had a lot of injuries, but I watched a lot of him when he was at Lyon. He is a powerhouse. I was surprised Tottenham got him, because I thought someone like a Man City would go and get him. He was that good of a footballer. I think he's really good. He covers the ground, but he just needs to get fitness up. But Man City's attacking options will cause Tottenham's defence a lot of problems. But you've got to be positive here, and I am positive.
Love that,
always
as always. Ndombele is on the bench, so you might see him today, hopefully. And the build-up to this game has been very cordial for the usual Jose and Pep standards. Pep saying that we've both grown up now, we're both a little bit older, a little bit wiser. Let's see if that actually holds up during the game. We can hear from Pep now.
Pep, tell us about your approach and what you think your team has got to do today to get a positive result here.
I think any manager has his own plan, a strategy to try to win the game, knowing who you are and the opponent. And that was the idea, as always.
Where do you expect to be able to cause Tottenham problems?
Well, they are physical strong. They have a quality in the middle with Lo Celso and Wings, and a lot of pace up front with a new player from PSV and of course on Moura, Dele Alli in the second position. So experience back with the keepers and the centre defenders. So always is a tough game against Tottenham.
Of course, no Harry Kane. Do you prepare your team differently when you aren't playing against a kind of traditional number 9?
No, because we know it, unfortunately for Harry Kane is injured. And we knew he could not play, so we prepared without him, and different qualities. So Harry Kane has specific qualities, and Lucas Moura has another one.
No, I'm Eric Laporte in the squad. Can you give us a latest update? What's his situation?
He's much better. Hopefully he can come back against West Ham, but we'll see this week. We have a long week to prepare West Ham game next Sunday, so we'll see how is the process.
Thanks, Pep.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Interesting to hear from Pep there. He wasn't as upbeat as Jose. But, Nicky, I want to ask you about the return of Hugo Lloris. Only made 8 appearances in the league this season. Of course, Gazaniga has been steadfast as his replacement, has one of the highest save percentages in the league, if you didn't know. But who would you opt for as number 1? Because it's been a sticking point, hasn't it, this season?
Yeah, I'd opt for Lloris. He's a World Cup winner. I'm not sure how many caps he's got for France, but it's probably around about 100. Yeah. He has been a top keeper for many years now. He's sort of been the backbone of that Tottenham team over the successes over the last 4 or 5 years. Gazaniga is okay, he's an able deputy, but I don't think he's an out-and-out number 1 at that elite level that Tottenham want to get to. So I think it's, there's a definite pecking order. Lloris 1, Gazaniga 2. So and Michel Vorm's back in as well as number 3 there. So yeah, he had a horrific injury. I think it was away at Brighton when he got a bad injury. I think it was elbow, his shoulder, and nice to see him back. And it might take him a few games to get back up to full speed, but he's a top keeper and has been for a few years.
Yeah, returned very quickly, didn't he? I think Tottenham, am I right in saying, Clinton, have only kept 3 clean sheets this season, which is the joint worst record with Norwich. What have you made of the defence as a unit then? Because Danny Rose, of course, securing that loan deal to Newcastle, was that surprising that someone he's not played as much under Jose, has he? But he's very much in consideration for the first team. Ben Davies is injured. Were you surprised to see him leave?
I wasn't surprised because obviously there was a talk of a bust-up. And when there's a bust-up with a manager, there's only going to ever be one winner, and that's probably the manager. And Danny Rose, credit to him, because he saw Jetram Williams got injured. He's meant to have called up Newcastle and said, or to his agent and said, I want to go and play football because they got the Euro. Yeah, he's engineered it himself. He's got the Euros in the summer. He needs to play football. He wasn't playing at Tottenham for whatever reason. I don't know why Danny Rose ain't playing. I like him. I think he's superb fullback. Tanganga's in there today. I think he's a good young player. He can play anywhere across the back. But Tottenham needs to strengthen. Yeah. This season, because you've got Sanchez, Alderweireld, they don't know, and Vertonghen, they don't know their best partnership at the moment. I think it's Alderweireld, and he usually rotates it. Sometimes Sanchez, sometimes Vertonghen. Right back, Aurier. You lose Trippier, and you keep. I don't mind Sergio Aurier. I think he's a decent fullback. But you lose someone of the quality of Trippier, you've got to bring in a replacement. Yeah. You can't just have one right back the whole season. And Tottenham have struggled this season. Their biggest problem, they've conceded too many goals. They score goals going forward. But if you're not good enough, then Nick will tell you, if you're not good enough at the back line, goalkeeper's going to have a lot of work to do. And the chopping and changing.
Of course, going out to Southampton.
That's what I mean. That means to go to show me that they don't think he's quite ready or good enough at the moment. But he's gone to another Premier League team and he'll want to prove them wrong. So it's a big game for Tottenham. And defensively, they'll have to be at it because Man City going forward, for me, are one of the best teams around in Europe at the moment.
Well, it looks like a decent atmosphere there. The Tottenham fans are sticking with their side despite the fact they're 20 points worse off than at this stage last season.
What a stadium, look at that.
Sort of
better than Arsenal.
Admiring the new stadium. Have you sampled the atmosphere?
No, I've never been. I'm waiting for someone to give me a ticket. They won't let me in.
Well, anyone got any?
No chance of me paying.
Then tweet it at the Football Social. Will, if people want to give Clinton a ticket or take him with them to Matchday, how do they get in touch?
Please get in touch.
If you want to give Clinton a ticket or 2 tickets so he can bring me along, get in touch using the hashtag TFS at Football Daily at Soccer AM.
Okay, remember to get your questions in, guys. We'll get them answered over the course of the first half. Maybe sneak a few in as well before this kicks off. Have you been holding on to any, Will?
Yes, one here from Flying Gazelle says, with Eric Garcia not starting and with both Laporte and Stones not travelling, do you think his best chance of succeeding would be to go out on loan, Nicky?
Garcia?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Obviously, there's been issues at the back all season, and it's a back four that can be got at. I think anyone with pace, and we've seen Wolves early on the season causing problems, and he's not really trusting Stones. I don't really think he fancies Otamendi that much. Garcia's had a few games, but in the big games he's not played him so much. So yeah, probably best to go out on loan and get some experience, because from what I can gather, he's a really, really good footballer. Yeah. Just struggles with the physical side of it a little bit.
Right. Okay. But get him at Wednesday, Nicky. You take him down there.
I'm not sure I would think about Wigan on a Tuesday night.
Well, talking of value for money, we've got our first Sky bet price boost for you right here, right now. Added to score a header was 12-1, now 16-1.
Yes.
Manchester City to win 3-0, 11-1. Is now 14-1. That would not be great for you, would it, Clinton? De Bruyne to score and City to win, now 4-1. Bergwijn on his debut and Spurs to win. That's more like it in the Clinton
model. More like it. Let's have some of that.
Odds accurate at the time of recording and subject to change. See skybet.com for more details. Of course, you have to be 18 plus to play along with us. So make sure that happens. Right, let's get some predictions before kick-off then, gentlemen. Oh, that's very satisfying.
Yeah, it's nice, wasn't it?
Starting with you on the end there, Clinton.
Well, I have to go for a Tottenham win. I'm going to go 2-1 Tottenham. I do believe Man City are favourites, but I can't go against my team, so 2-1 Tottenham.
2-1 Tottenham, Nicky?
I'm going to go 3-1 City. I see City scoring
what
plenty.
What are you aiming for?
I also think the defence can be got at a little bit, so clean sheets have been hard to come by for them this year.
OK, very sensible approach, David.
5-0 Man City, Aguero hat-trick.
Why did you ask him? I don't even know why you asked him. He was never going to go Aguero hat-trick.
He might be feeling rational. Obviously not. William?
Speaking of rational, I'm going to go for 3-3 myself.
Every game.
Just so you know, Nicky, that is his traditional bet. He's not just, right, the game is on the cusp of starting. The handshakes, it all looks very genteel down there, doesn't it? Very civilised. Of course, these two managers have faced each other a record amount. They are one another's
there we
foe.
go.
I think that's probably somewhat of an understatement. And we're, like I said, just about to kick off. The pleasantries almost finished. Let's have a couple of questions until that moment comes.
I have a question.
Go on then.
What do you think the big difference is between this City team and last year? Is it just the Vincent Kompany's moved on? A few issues with it, like what? Because there's obviously a big difference, right? No?
Obviously, they never really replaced Kompany.
They had
a little dabble on. Well, they had a big dabble with Maguire, and then pulled out at sort of the last minute. And obviously the injury to Laporte. And I think a big thing that don't get mentioned so much is Leroy Sané. He's a big player. He's produced in big games from over the last couple of years. And he's not played all season, so he's been a big loss. Fernandinho dropping into the back. Rodri, I like Rodri, but he's not Fernandinho in that, So I think when Fernandinho does play at the back, you lose a little bit something in midfield. And And I think Liverpool as well. What Liverpool are doing is showing City up, but City have not been as bad as people are making out. It's just how well Liverpool have done.
Cheers. That's a great question, David.
Thank you very much.
How long have you been holding on to that for?
Well, I was just wondering.
Fair enough. Let's go back over to the fans then.
Yes, one here from King Zola. He says, do you think Spurs even have a slight chance of a top 4 finish, or are they fighting for Europa League this season, Clinton?
Of course
Early
they've
dig
got a
there,
chance.
Clinton, from the comments.
Pardon?
Early dig there.
That's not
Yeah, I know. He's
That's
trying to be clever, that guy, isn't he? I got an answer to you. Of course, they've still got a chance. If they win today, they'll be 4 points. I think it's 4 points behind Chelsea. That's a great chance. But you have to keep believing.
Yeah.
And I don't think most Tottenham fans will want to do Europa League because it's always on a Thursday, playing on a Sunday. It's difficult to do that. Fair play for the teams that are doing it at the moment, but it's hard. And a team of Tottenham's quality should be in the Champions League. But it is hard. It is hard this season because a couple of big teams are going to miss out.
Yeah.
Because you got Chelsea, you got Man United,
Leicester in there.
Leicester are in there. They're already in there.
United.
Obviously, I'm going to have to include Arsenal. They could be missing out because I still class them as a big team.
Cheers, mate.
Is that all right, Dave?
Yeah, cheers.
All right.
Cole was given a shout for Wolves for a late push for top 4.
Yeah, that's not a bad shout. That's a great shout. Yeah, Wolves are a good team.
They're fantastic.
Wolves are really good.
I think that's the thing with Wolves and Leicester. They're so consistent.
Yes.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? So,
I mean, as dependent as Leicester are on Jamie Vardy, Wolves are probably equally as dependent on Jimenez, aren't they? So if anything was to happen to him...
But it's like even Leicester, they got a good result against Chelsea. Vardy didn't score in that, did he? And he's not been scoring.
the winner though, couldn't he?
Yeah, the Barnes.
These fine margins, he's probably only about 80%, isn't he? He's come back very quickly, alarmingly quickly, after pulling his hamstring against Aston Villa in that first leg. Manchester City putting together some nice little passes here very early on, already wrestled possession from Tottenham.
I think this is going to be the story of the game, and then can Tottenham hit him on the counter, but you expect City to have the lion's share of possession.
Well, this was the case against Liverpool, wasn't it? Tottenham sort of ceded possession first half, Clinton, and then actually in the second half,
they had some chances.
Performed very, very well. Do you think they're going to follow that blueprint in this game?
Yeah, most definitely. Listen, Liverpool were the better team, could have been out of sight, but Tottenham did stay in the game and had a great chance. Lo Celso had a great chance, and Son had a really good chance. It was a big sit-up. He should be scoring there. Son knows
that, Clint.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I didn't want to say anything. I was just easing my way into the show, and then I was going to start, coming out of my shell. But yeah, I would have definitely scored that. But no, they had two great chances, and maybe could have came away with a draw. But this will be difficult because when Man City get their passing right, for me going forward, they're the best team ever. Man City, when they get it right, best footballing team ever in Europe. Well, not ever, but best footballing team in Europe. I know Liverpool are doing amazingly, and Liverpool deserve it because they're excellent. But when Man City, they can pass you to death. They're that good of a football team. It's Kevin De Bruyne, for me, best midfielder in Europe at the moment.
Ooh, big statement early on. That's what we like.
I have to throw something out there.
Would you be in agreement there, Nicky?
Yeah, I think he's been City's best player this year. Love playing with him because he pick the assists he gets is unbelievable. Like Clint says, he's as good as anyone in Europe at the minute, and he's been doing the business for a few years now at City, and he's a great age, and probably going to get another 3 or 4 great years out of him.
So you mentioned Aguero there. Recently overtook Thierry Henry as the Premier League's top scoring overseas players. Do you think Gabriel Jesus is ready to take his place in the next couple of years, or will he stick around long enough and rotate before he's considered the out-and-out first choice?
Yeah, well, I think when Jesus come, it was sort of seen as the natural, to follow on. Yeah, but then it's just never really happened for him, and I think everyone expected Aguero slightly to get eased out a little bit, but he's not, and at first everyone was saying, he's not a Guardiola kind of player, doesn't press, doesn't work hard enough, but he does now. And obviously his goals speak for themselves. So I think Jesus is a top player, but he's just, his trust is in Aguero at the minute, and he's still young. I think you forget how young he is. So there's a chance for him in the next couple of years. But yeah, it'll be very interesting, and I think it'll be interesting to see how long Aguero stays there for, because I think Guardiola's pretty much said it's up to him when he sort of decides he wants to leave the club.
Aguero's class. He's one of the best around. He'll go down as one of the best Premier League strikers of all time.
What do you admire about him then, from one as a former Premier League? Okay. What happened there, Dave?
Ball played over top Dele, decent run, but I think he was about half a yard off, so not to be.
Okay.
I said,
is he on?
I'll be honest, I said.
very contentious decision there early on. Dele Alli looked to be onside and looked to have engineered himself a one-on-one situation. The linesman's flagged, but might not have been looking closely at the replay. I was just about to ask you, what is it about Sergio Aguero's game that you admire so much? Is there any nuance there that we might not have spotted?
His movement's first class. He's one. You have to look at him. How does he always get in behind? Because he's quite quick, but he's not like Adama Traore quick. But his movement is first class. And as a defender, you don't know whether he's going to come short or spin him behind. And Weez will tell you, Nick will tell you, when you get in a one-on-one situation as a goalkeeper, you must be worrying because he goes ice cool as a centre forward. You're meant to go ice cool, and he just relaxes, and he always knows where he's going to put. He must be a nightmare to do finishing with because you're just thinking he's brilliant. Listen, I'm older than him. I would have loved to have learned. I learned from him, and I'm still learning now. Yeah, because he's that good of a striker. He's excellent. He's finishing his first class. One of the best I've seen in the Premier League. I would actually put him up there, but I'd probably say Thierry Henry, for me, was the best. Because of he had the whole all-round game, that's why. Sergio Aguero, great goal scorer. Henry's all-round game was fantastic. He'll take you out wide and make you look completely silly.
Would you place him above Alan Shearer, Wayne Rooney, their exploits in the Premier League?
I'd put Shearer up there. You've got to realise Shearer scored. I still look at it now and see how many goals Shearer scored. That is amazing. Alan Shearer was a hell of a striker.
He scored a few before the Premier League.
That's what I mean. He did score a few before it. So I'd put Shearer up there. In my top three, it'd probably be Henry, Shearer, Aguero. Probably that top three like that. Yeah, it would be. Because
not Morrison?
No, Morrison. Clinton Morrison probably be about fourth. and that's me being nice. I'm only joking, everyone. Don't take me serious.
Manchester City nearly in there. Kevin De Bruyne.
Dave, why are you cheering for City?
Putting that
Spurs,
wide
man. Come on.
of the post.
Just for me today. We need all the help we can get.
Nicky, early 2000s, when you were Manchester City's #1, who did you used to fear playing against, if anyone?
Kevin Phillips was he scored past me for Sunderland, for Birmingham, for West Brom. I think he scored sort of 7 or 8 goals past me, so he was the one that I didn't like playing against. But yeah, it was, I played against Shearer. Fortunately, he didn't score a couple of games I played against him. But yeah, Kevin Phillips was the one that I didn't like playing against.
What can you do as a goalkeeper to make life as hard as possible for the striker?
You've just got to stay as big as you can for as long as you can and make him finish rather than make his mind up for him. And that's all you can really do.
That's a ball! Oh, it's cold, baby!
Oh, that was his chance there, wasn't it?
He's been talking about him going ice cold.
Yeah, and that was a good chance for Sergio Aguero there.
Sergio's gone out to 5th now, yeah?
Go on, son, take him on. Yeah, he's gone down to 5th. Take him on, son.
Go on, what's happening then,
Go
Clinton?
on, son against Fernandinho.
Back post.
Good
Take the picture for the people back home, son.
That's great defending for Fernandinho.
Zinchenko.
Oh, he's nice enough.
Yeah, you're right. That's great defending from Fernandinho. You were right. Nick said earlier on about how good Fernandinho. He's a super player.
You don't realise how good he is.
You don't realise how good he is.
I think he's been here 8 years. It's been phenomenal.
Phenomenal, yeah.
I know he's getting on in years now, but he's still
signed a new contract as well, hasn't he?
Well, we spoke about Sergio Aguero adapting his game. When he arrived, he certainly wasn't this.
Go on, Ryan.
Penalty?
Oh, it's got to be. A VAR. Come on.
No VAR.
We're sorry.
VAR's not working today.
Nicky, what Dean in the middle?
Nicky, what's happened there with Manchester City?
Sterling got played through. I think it was De Bruyne who played him through. Yeah. It looked like it was going to be, and he got a little nudge. He went down. I don't think it was enough for a penalty. And I just hope at the end of the game we're talking about a good football match rather than VAR, because particularly in this fixture, early on in the season and last season, it was a big talking point. So,
and Raheem Sterling was at the epicentre of most of those episodes, wasn't he? So let's hope he doesn't have gold chalks off today. Go on then, Will. Do you want to get in the comments, mate?
Yes, lots of questions coming in thick and fast. There's one here about Mike Dean's in the middle today. Was there any referees that you actually liked playing with, or any sort of referees that you saw coming down the tunnel, you're like, oh, here we go?
My favourite referee was Mark Halsey.
Yeah?
Because when we played in the playoff final at City against Gillingham, he produced 5 minutes of injury time. When there'd never been 5 minutes.
Brilliant.
Tony Pulis was the Gillingham manager at the time, and I've got a vision in my head of him going mental on the touchline, and there'd never been 5 minutes, and we held 5 minutes up, and we went on and scored 2 goals in injury time. So yeah, Mark Halsey, my favourite.
I thought Graham Poll. There's a few ignorant ones in the Premier League that I had a few arguments with, and I can't even remember their name.
You can argue with anyone.
Yeah, you are right. I could argue with anyone. And then 5 minutes later apologise.
Yeah.
But the one thing I never did, well, not in the Premier League, I never got sent off, so I always knew when to control it. You know how far you can push these referees, but most of the referees at the end of the game, you shake their hand and say, "You've done a good job."
Oh my goodness me!
Spurs seem to hold up a little bit.
Talking of control, Edison just about getting that under control. Lucas Moura almost in there. Man City almost the architects of their own downfall here. Nicky, what's happened there?
Pass, but he seemed to just dwell on it a little bit.
Cold, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Windy.
It could be a bit windy, but he seemed to just, take his time a bit too much. And Lucas Moura, I think he got round Fernandinho there and very nearly, got in.
People often talk about Edison as, the prototype for a modern goalkeeper. How do you sort of analyse him? When you put Edison under the microscope.
I think he's brilliant. I think he's been fantastic since he come in. He's sort of taking goalkeeping to another level. He plays on the edge. Not only is he a good goalkeeper, but the way he distributes the ball is unbelievable. He's like a quarterback. He's got the 80-yard zing. Oof, that's a bit naughty.
Yeah, look at that. I think it could be off.
He gave him a yellow. I think VAR, look at that. He might be sending him off.
OK, stick with us here. It's going to clarify.
There was one recently, weren't there, I think?
Aubameyang.
And also Aubameyang, against Max Meyer. And then also there was a Norwich centre-half who did it on Callum Wilson as well.
Oh, baby, they're checking.
I don't think that's Raheem Sterling. He's not like that. But
this could change the complexion of the game.
I think he's going to get sent off.
I don't
think he's gone in malicious, really. I think it looks worse than it is.
It looks worse than it is.
Hasn't he kept it on a bit, though? Do you know what I mean? He's kept it there for a bit.
He's also gone over the ball, hasn't he, Raheem Sterling? So that...
I don't think it's deliberate, though. I think he's gone... He just mistimed it. It's a typical centre-forward challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any...
No.
He's kept it there for a bit.
Does that excuse you from the red card, it being a typical centre-forward challenge?
No, of course it don't, because it happened with Aubameyang the other day. Listen, but he has genuinely gone to go for the ball.
Do you think him making contact with the ball first has just about saved him there?
I don't know.
Yeah.
If that's not Raheem Sterling, I think that's a red.
He could get a red. I think he could get a red still. It happened with Aubameyang. Yeah.
I don't think it's a red personally, but once it went to VAR, you could see.
What have they done a check already?
Yeah, it's not
a red card.
No.
Oh my! I'd have to agree with you.
I mean,
it should have been a red card. Yeah, but it didn't delay. I didn't think it. I can't believe it. I was looking over there. I thought him, but still checking. And when he said that, I said, "Oh my word! It should have been a red card."
I've checked it myself.
Did you?
Okay. In these
Stockley
situations,
Park.
gentlemen, do we think the referee should go and have to check himself at the side of the pitch?
Yeah,
I personally did.
100%.
I thought when VAR come in, that would be standard, but it's obviously not happened yet, and I think it's something that will get introduced in and be a regular thing.
Even that Zinchenko tackle, a couple of very tasty tackles at the start of this game. One from Zinchenko, one from Sterling. I think the general consensus is that Sterling's got away with one in the studio.
I think Jose's too happy.
Jose in the 23rd meeting between him and Pep is.
If you're watching, if you're Aubameyang and you're watching the game, say you're watching this game, Aubameyang. That was no different to what he did to Max Meyer at Crystal Palace. Look, that's why Jose's looking, and Jose's reaction is brilliant, isn't it?
Jose straight to the fourth official. I mean, you can understand why he'd be angry, because Dele Alli's a key component to his side, and that could have put him out for the rest of the season.
That could have been a massive turning point in the game as well.
And turning point in their season, because we know they need 3 points here to stay in touching distance of Champions League football. Was that a red card or not? Let us know in the comments below, guys. And if you're not subscribed to Football Daily and Soccer AM, what are you playing at? Hit that subscribe button right now. What an opening 15 minutes we've had on the Football Social so far. Could have had a goal, could have had a red card to boot. So Tottenham starting to ease themselves into this game. Clinton,
look good. Harry Winks looks really good in midfield. I said he's a good footballer, but you see everything will go through him today. He just wants the football. And even if he gives it away, he's still going to get the football. And I think that's brilliant for any youngster watching. Don't worry about making mistakes. It's how you can go and get the ball again. And he always wants the ball. I like Harry Winks. I've liked him from the first time I've seen him in the Tottenham shirt. But now it's time to start coming of age and taking that midfield spot, especially since Christian Eriksen's left. He can be the main midfielder now.
What do you make of Christian Eriksen's departure, even, gentlemen, then? Were you happy to see the back of him?
That's the thing. As an Arsenal fan, I was actually glad to see him go. I think he's a top player. I don't understand why Spurs didn't sell him in the summer and get 60, 70 million for him.
Shocking.
That's the only bit that I don't understand from a Spurs point of view.
Probably didn't anticipate he was going to down tools in quite
the fashion
that he did, right? What did you think to his last 6 months? Has it soured his reputation at Tottenham, Clinton?
Yeah,
or was his status already kind of secure?
A little bit. The way, not the way he went about it, but he said he wanted to leave, and I think Tottenham should have sorted it out and got rid of him in the summer, because you could see towards the end the Tottenham fans, they were on his back quite a bit, and he wasn't producing. I don't think he scored any goals this season or not have quite a lot of assists. He was struggling massively, and that's not Christian Eriksen. He'll go to Inter Milan and he'll rip it up at Inter Milan, because he's a top player. I think he's one of the best midfielders there is around. He's so quality, but you could just see. You looked in his body language. You can always tell by someone's body language. They weren't happy there. They didn't want to play. You can even see sometimes Jose was bringing him off the bench, and you're looking at him on the side. Usually you're eager to get on. He wasn't. He just looked like, I'll just go in there and I'll do. I'm not saying he wasn't trying, because I don't think any footballer will go on the pitch and not try. But he just towards the end, it just didn't look like he wanted to be at Tottenham.
Must be hard to be the same player when your mind is already elsewhere. And like you said, he was just frighteningly consistent, wasn't he, in his 6.5 years at Tottenham. Very different player in the last 6 months, but I think, like you, Inter Milan will be getting the best out of him.
He's in. Oh, Edison. What a starting position that was, by the way. And then he set them up on the if they score this.
Look at De Bruyne's free.
That's good defending.
Nicky, massive question here. Edison or Alisson for you?
Oh, what a question.
I think he's really, really close. I used to think Edison, but I don't think he's been quite as commanding as he has been this season in recent seasons. And I think Alisson's gone on to another level this year, particularly recently. But they're both fantastic, and that's a typical Edison there. High starting position, on his front foot, ball over the top, straight out. It looked like it was clean through, and then next minute he comes in, sweeps it up, and he's as good as you get at that.
Do you think that would be different if Edison had a full season with Laporte in front of him? Because obviously Alisson's benefited from Van Dijk.
Absolutely, it's never nice when you've got an unsettled back four in front of you. It puts more pressure on you, because generally in games he doesn't have loads to do. But what he is, he's always alive. City dominate possession, and teams trying him on the counter, and that was a prime example. He's on his front foot and he swept up nicely.
Do you think so? Just to explore the narrative, of the modern goalkeeper a little bit more. How has it, in your opinion, as a goalkeeping coach and a former Premier League goalkeeper, how are the demands different now on a goalkeeper than when you were coming through at Sheffield Wednesday?
Yeah, you've got to be obviously a very, very good goalkeeper, but you've got to be really good and competent with your feet. And I think the thing is, when you look at likes of your Alisson and your Edisons, who are the top keepers around at the minute with the feet particularly, it's not how much confidence they've got, it's how much confidence the players have got in them, because they give it them back when they're under pressure. In the middle of his goal, 5 yards out, and two people are closing him down. And they always seem to get out of trouble, and the sort of attack starts with them. I always think with Edison, his first look's always long, and can he get somebody in a 70-yard pass? And sometimes when I'm over at City, I always go out early and watch the warm-up, and the way he pings that ball about is unbelievable. I've seen nothing like it. In my time, it was a little bit different. You had to be good with your feet, but as long as you were sort of competent left and right, you was okay. Where now, it's sort of like you're threading balls through, you're chipping it, you're doing all sorts of different things with it, and quite often the attack starts with him.
Yeah, I mean, if you're pressing Manchester City really competently, then the goalkeeper just finds a way through you. It must be absolutely abysmal to play against. Tottenham, though, growing in confidence in this game, Clinton.
No, they've started well. I said the front three will cause problems because they've got pace, and as defenders you don't want to play against pace. So, and it will be counter-attacking, but they have to be careful, because Man City can just turn over the ball like that and score instantly. Going back to the goalkeepers, I think Edison is better than some outfields we played with at Sheffield Wednesday, man. No names, but we don't want to throw anyone there. But he's that good of a footballer.
Outfield.
Yeah, he's that good.
Yeah.
You're going to reopt into punch there.
Yeah, he's so good. He's so good with his feet. I think he's excellent. And also Alisson's brilliant. That assist the other day in the 93rd minute. Usually as a goalkeeper, you take it, you're winning the game. He just pings it to Salah, and they go and score when they beat Man United.
But it does that when you can ping it to Salah.
That's what I mean, to someone who's going to score, exactly.
Right, well, we are 20 minutes in, David, and City not quite as commanding as were in the first 5. For you, are Tottenham better equipped
are playing well, to be honest,
to get Champions League football than Arsenal?
To say that.
Are they better equipped?
Yeah.
Well, they're currently X amount of points above us, so at the moment they're probably in the hot seat.
You've got,
do I think they have a better starting 11? I'm going to say no, and I do honestly believe that.
Oh.
Go on, Sergio!
Oh, great.
Good defending there from Davinson Sanchez.
Oh, look at that from Lloris.
I was just trying to channel my inner Sean Goater there, mate.
You could score that, boy.
Chris, you asked the FD and Soccer AM audience if they thought it was a red card, and I'm going to say predominantly red card. Anna says same as Aubameyang, red card 100%. A very late tackle. But there was one from John saying Aubameyang did exactly the same and should be sent off for a red card.
Okay, I think people again just seeking a bit of consistency, and if the referee is checking it on the sideline, maybe we do find that consistency, because that felt quite open to interpretation. That didn't it? So,
but I think when VAR was first introduced in the World Cup, it was the referee going over to the screen.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was going to be. And I think VAR will be a good thing.
Yeah.
But it just needs a bit of. There's still more questions than there's answers.
Yeah.
Just needs a bit of fine tuning.
Yeah.
Especially Joel Ward, he gets shown a straight red. We've all seen it. It was like clear yellow. He goes over, amends his mistake. Everyone carries on.
You respect the referees more if you go over and have a look.
Yeah.
He went on and he came, admitted he made a mistake and turned it into a yellow, which is full credit to the referee. It was brilliant refereeing. But when you don't go and have a look, the players, they won't respect it. They'll be like, and everyone will be moaning about VAR. That's what the monitor is there for.
Yeah.
It takes 10 seconds
That's
to
the
walk
thing, isn't
over
it?
there.
It's there to assist the referee, isn't it? It's not there to make decision for him, right? It's for him to go and have a look and go, I think I made a mistake, or whatever it might be.
That's the thing. I think we all thought it was for the clear and obvious, didn't we? I mean, certain things haven't been so clear and obvious.
When armpits are involved, isn't it?
Yeah, and fingernails and.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jose Mourinho thought that was clear and obvious, didn't he, from his reaction to the fourth official on the sideline. Pep Guardiola not looking into have made life hard for City at the start of this game. Right, we got any questions to keep us ticking over?
Yes, one here from Peter T. We were speaking about Aguero earlier, but Jose Mourinho interrupted us. Aguero, panic buy. What message does this send to Martial? Very direct question there from Peter, but I think we're all surprised, Clinton, with Aguero coming to Manchester United.
I was surprised, but it could turn out to be a good bit of business. They need a centre forward.
Yeah.
You saw Martial yesterday playing.
Bad, wasn't it?
He doesn't want to be in the 6-yard box. I've been at loads of Man United games. They have not got, when they get wide, they want to put the ball in the box. Martial's out. He wants to be out wide as well. He wants to come from that left channel, like I called the Thierry Henry channel, where he doesn't want to be in it. He's not an out-and-out centre forward. He wants to play like either maybe in a 10 or out wide. They need a proper number 9. I think Aguero will hold the ball up, get in the box. He won't get involved in the play too much because that's not really his game. But if you get balls into the box, he'll score goals. Listen, it's probably not the signing Man United fans wanted, but for a temporary thing, because obviously they got no Marcus Rashford. They're going to miss Marcus Rashford. The amount of goals he scored this season, he's been excellent. So I think the only striker they could get was Aguero. So I think it'll be an all right signing.
Nicky, were you shocked, laughing, surprised?
Not laughing, but a little bit shocked. It sort of come out of nowhere. It shows that obviously the Rashford injury killed him, because any club in the world had missed Rashford. But every signing's a gamble and a risk, and only time will tell. People won't be asking these questions if he scores 3 in his first 3, and good luck to him and see how he does.
It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
Manchester United have got to the point where they just needed a body. I think it's the actual. I don't think United fans are taking massive umbrage with the fact they've signed Aguero. It's everything leading up to that, right? Like the lack of joined-up thinking, coupled with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer saying that Alexis Sanchez is going to prove everyone wrong when he returns from his loan, which raises the question, why send him out on loan if you're that confident in his ability to turn around his Manchester United career?
You start thinking, what's happened with Man United? They need a sporting director. They need a director. Because Woodward, I know what happened at his house is disgraceful. You're not proper fans who's going to do that. But with all the problems, come out and meet the fans, speak to them, explain the direction you're trying to take the football club, and get a sporting director, someone who knows the club and can bring in good players. Because I think Woodward's brilliant for the commercial side, he does for Man United. But bring in someone who knows football, because that's all Man United. Because Man United Football Club should be attracting world-class strikers, without a shadow of doubt. He shouldn't have let one go in. Romelu Lukaku, I thought, has been brilliant, and he's proved that at Inter Milan. And that's the type of centre-forward they're needing. And that's what Man United fans want. They want answers of what's going wrong at that football club. And you can see all the ex-players that have been there, they're having a go now because they're not happy. Yeah. Years gone by when we were playing, how good were Man United?
United were the best team, weren't they, for 10, 15 years.
Gone quiet in the studio there because Riyad Mahrez picked it up in the box, but it has been adjudged to be offside. Hello. Davinson Sanchez taking a very odd...
This is one mistake a game, isn't it, Davinson Sanchez?
Taking a very odd set piece there, straight into a Manchester City player. It looked like KDB was in. Let's use this opportunity to bring up a price boost.
Oh, I love a price boost, Chris.
Absolutely, mate. Son to score the first goal, 10-1. Tottenham have been in the ascendancy, haven't they? Clinton would absolutely love that. Odds accurate at the time of recording. Visit skybet.com for more details. You have to be 18 plus to play along. And Manchester City now under the cosh defensively and have cleared the ball.
Did you see what just happened there?
I did not.
Please
lie to me, mate.
No, listen, Mahrez was in on goal. He must have heard a whistle and he's just... Oh, hold on, there's a goal.
Oh, they've hit the post.
I told you there was nearly a goal.
Nicky, what's happened there?
Aguero got, I think it was De Bruyne played Aguero through. He got a shot in. I'm not sure if Lloris got a slight touch on it, but it hit the inside of the post and bounced back out. I thought it was in.
It might have been a slight deflection on the shot, took it onto the post. Either way, that is very, very close from Sergio Aguero.
Great defending from Alderweireld.
Oh, has he got a little stud on
Yeah, I think he got a little stud.
There might be two little nicks on this. Yeah.
Oh, Lloris.
Hugo Lloris with his big toe keeping out Sergio Aguero. What a piece of goalkeeping there.
Clark's one sec.
Yeah. Tottenham still in the game though, and on the attack now. This is much more open than I anticipated. Tottenham really going for it.
They are. They look. I said that they look really frightening, and they're going forward at pace as well, and they're causing City a few problems. But you can cause City a few problems this season because obviously they're missing. They're rocking Laporte, and I also think they're missing Vincent Kompany at centre half. Like when you lose someone like that, surely you must bring in a replacement as a person in it and a leader as well.
Even Delph.
They were the two that really got into the others.
Is that part of... We had Carlton Cole on yesterday and he was speaking about having a core and a DNA that one knows the club but two can send that message around as well.
It's sort of probably a dying breed now in football, that sort of, I don't know, John Terry, whatever.
Yeah, like the leadership.
The centre half who's sort of getting it off time and start giving it a few. But yeah, they're sort of a dying breed now. Everyone wants to be nice to each other and everyone wants to be popular and this and that. But yeah, City, I think, certainly missed. Company's been at the heartbeat of everything that's been successful in the last 10 years at the club.
Yeah.
And it'll take some replacing.
Yeah.
Because even at Liverpool, you look at Van Dijk and then even Henderson and Milner
Henderson
maybe not getting the minutes.
Yeah. Even when he came on loan when he was a youngster from Sunderland to Coventry when I was there, he didn't shut up.
What did you think he was natural captain material when you...
Yeah, most definitely. Even as a young boy, you'd be saying, he'll get the ball in and he'll always want to say something to you. Fair play to him. But he's a right winger when he came. He was a right winger, but he's been outstanding this season. He's a proper captain, Jordan Henderson. He's proved a lot of people wrong. He's a good footballer. Yesterday against Southampton, I thought he was magnificent. A lot of people don't realise they say he can hold in midfield. He can also score goals as well.
Oh, it's a good
good defending.
Quite that final ball for City. It's just kind of...
I just feel like everyone in there. I feel like everyone in there wants Man City to win, and I'm the only one.
I'm with you, Clinton. Come on.
Are you with me?
Just whoever plays the best football.
Sense a goal coming now.
I can sense a goal coming.
That was a great tackle by Lo Celso on the edge of the box there. City just for about 2 minutes camped 20 yards out from Tottenham's goal. Good shape from Tottenham has forced City back. Just to revisit the whole Henderson paradigm. I mean, Fabinho. He gets a big injury. People are questioning, what sort of impact that'll have on the side. And as a result, Henderson's picked up those minutes and been the player, the improved player that we've seen this season. Did the opportunity? Surely there was an opportunity there for someone to do something similar at Manchester City, but we're all saying that Garcia is too young. Maybe lacks a bit of physicality.
I think the opportunity is there for John Stones to take, but obviously the manager's not putting his faith in him. He picks up little niggling injuries. 2 or 3 years ago, I thought he was going to turn into like a Rio Ferdinand. I really, really fancied him. Listen, he's still a top player, but he's just not kicked on how we would have liked.
Ryan knows mistakes out of his game. I mean, I think they're probably held against him to an extent. But...
Yeah, and the way he plays, you're going to make the odd mistake, but he's sort of continued to make the mistakes. And he's never really had that proper run. He always picks up little niggling injuries that's out for 3 or 4 weeks, and But he's hugely talented, and it's not too late for him. But I just get the feeling that Pep's not got his full confidence in him.
Good. Yeah, I mean, there was various points throughout the season where he's played two central midfielders at centre-back, and, you know, John Stones was injured in that period.
But actions speak louder than words, don't they? So, you know, Pep always says the right things when he speaks about John Stones, but then doesn't actually put him in, and he puts midfielders in there.
Were you surprised to see, well, just the absence of business at City in January?
Not really, because I don't think they do that. That was different because I think it was they met a buyout clause, so the price wouldn't have changed in January or the summer. So they generally don't do that much in January, but it's certainly an area that they do need to. I'm surprised they've not maybe done a loan or done something. But it's very stubborn, I think, Pep. And once he says he's not going to do something, he doesn't do it. And like I said, there's been a few deals. You know, there was involved in the Alexis Sanchez deal a couple of years ago, and Harry Maguire in the summer. And when they get to a certain point and they don't think it's value for money, they sort of pull away from the deal. But I think
to the post by Maguire and Fred, right?
Yeah. So, you know, obviously they have their own valuations in mind, and once they get to that, they won't go any higher. And you know, but I think this year they've got to go out. This summer, got to go out and buy a top centre half.
Well, they're already talking about sort of overhauling the squad. I heard some pundits talking about Raheem Sterling potentially sizing up a move to Real Madrid in a couple of years' time. But I think he would go wherever Pep goes, right?
Yeah, I think Pep's got the best out of Raheem Sterling. He's come out and said that many a times. He's been like that father figure for him in the football world. He's been excellent, and he's improved Sterling's game. You've got to realise, where was Sterling 2-3 years ago? Everyone in this country was hammering Raheem Sterling, and the amount of stick he was getting about being as a footballer and stuff like that. And he just took his game to a whole different level. Pep believed in him. The Man City fans probably didn't believe in him, but now he's proved everyone wrong, and that's fantastic. That's the man of Raheem Sterling.
Credit to him, though,
it is credit to Sterling.
He got a bad rap, I think.
He did get a bad rap.
A lot of it, some of it brought on himself, maybe, but a lot of it not.
No, exactly.
And probably the way he left Liverpool and everything. He's done great.
He's been brilliant. Yeah, he has been outstanding.
Yeah, definitely the jewel in Pep's crown, isn't it? And I think it is largely just paper talk, and the fact that he hasn't signed a new contract, people putting, you know, one on one
I think
together.
the City fans as well, you know, we talk about Sterling, but I think they want to see a bit more of Phil Foden. Okay. He seems to be holding him back a little bit. Yeah. Obviously, I think he scored the winner against Tottenham last year at the Etihad, I think, Foden. Yellow card.
Very promising position for Tottenham here. Kyle Walker giving away a free kick about 25 yards out, and you know, sling some of that back line up.
Yeah, they're gonna.
How have Tottenham been from set pieces this season, Clinton?
Well, to be fair, when you've not got Eriksen in your team, they're not going to be that good, because Eriksen usually puts it on the money, don't he? His delivery is first class, so he hasn't been playing. I probably Lo Celso might take this, or it's. Oh no, it'll be Son. Son's going to take it. Lo Celso probably take it, because it's a right-footed one. You whip it into the goal. But Man City do well here. They keep a high line.
Keep a really
as a goalkeeper, is that what you want?
No,
you don't.
You want them to keep up, but
that's so really high, isn't it? Yeah, look how high their line is.
They keep a high one. Further up it is. 18 yards probably about right there.
Okay.
Cleared with ease, despite it being from quite a dangerous position. Lo Celso to put it back in.
Oh, lovely ball.
Touch and whip.
Are you glad to see him getting extended running the side now, Lo Celso?
Yeah, I am.
Came with a massive reputation.
It's took a bit of time to get in there. They've made the move permanent now. I think you start seeing the best of him. A lot of clubs were interested in him, but it takes time. It takes time to adjust to the Premier League, and it has took time. And it took time for him to get into the team. But now I think he'll start delivering. Well, I hope he starts delivering.
Well, him and Ndombele had a few recurring injuries, didn't they, at the start of the career, which didn't help. But great to see him get that run that we were talking about, because he's a very, very talented footballer, a former Betis man. Son, not seen a lot of him in this game. David, if you could take one Tottenham player for Arsenal, who would it be?
Good question.
He's scratching his beard, so he's deep in thought. Should we come back to it?
One Spurs player. I think we definitely need a centre half, so I'll probably take one of them. To be honest, I'm not really fussed much.
One fourth? You'd have one fourth, would you?
No, not him. But yeah, I think probably this, and I'll probably that Davinson Sanchez. I think he's still quite young. He's still got a lot more to come from him. So if I was to pick one,
fair enough.
Wow, out of all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
in sheer disbelief there.
I'm just pleased for him.
Has anyone asked any questions that have you in a similar state?
Up, mate. One here from Lewis O'Donnell as Serge gets the ball in.
Hello.
Oh my God! Come on, City! Come on, City.
Hope you're all watching these lots cheering.
We just want goals for content.
I wanted to go from Dele Alli there. Good defending from Walker there, though. Really good defending.
The last match, good job. It was more or less certain goal, wasn't it?
Bergwijn looks lively. Look, he makes good runs and it's a good ball as well.
Yeah, it's a good ball. You pointed out before that left back area, because Zinchenko is obviously a very advanced fullback, and he's took advantage of it a couple of times, hasn't he?
He has. You're just playing behind because then you got Fernandinho on that side, who is a good defender, but he's not a natural centre half.
Come on, Kev.
Come on, Toby.
Equally, KDB is everywhere along that forward line.
How does he even know where that passes?
Chop.
Chop!
Oh, come on, they've got to stay there, man. Serge, clear the ball. Shut up, Mike Dean. What balls you got there?
Bit of VAR action here, I think.
OK, Nicky, what's happened there? Break down that situation for us in good luck, by the way, because about 6 different incidents.
Yeah, it was a bit of a scramble. It looked like they had a couple of chances to get a clear shot in it. First with Gundogan, I think. Didn't quite get it out of his feet. It looked to me, from our angle, like it was close to being a penalty. That referee's saying he got a little bit on the ball. Aguero certainly thinks it's a penalty, but obviously it's not.
The VAR are going to look
Strange
at
there
this.
how the rest of the players weren't up in arms about it.
You generally get a feel for
if it's a penalty or not.
I think they are
sort of,
I can lean back
with the referee. So, but my first thought was a penalty, but we didn't have a great angle. We couldn't really see.
Yeah,
looks a bit of a lazy.
Well, that's a major incident,
He
isn't
gave him a
it?
decision to make, didn't he? And he was going away from goal. So yeah,
it's a major incident, so it will be being looked at. I think
And
that's what they're discussing on the sideline now. Pep Guardiola equally as furious at the lack of penalty there as Jose was with the lack of red card. But Raheem Sterling driving City on.
Check it, Mike. Oh, it's still in.
It's still in. We're no closer to an answer, Will. What do you think, penalty or not?
I think penalty myself. Look, like Nicky said, it's Serge Aurier, so 1, the alarm bell should be ringing. 2, he's going away from goal, doesn't need to make the challenge, and 3, it's Serge Aurier, alarm bell should be ringing.
And if you're going to fulfil your 3-all prophecy at some point on this show, those sort of penalties have to be given, don't they?
And I need Serge Aurier playing.
This could be a VAR record, this, for the...
Oh! Lucas Moura almost capitalising on a slip there from
Against
Rodrigo.
the half-time, do they have to take a half-time penalty?
Imagine.
One of those...
The ball ain't gone out of play yet.
One of the penalties they used to do in the MLS, where they run from the halfway line.
A little American shootout.
I think you'd love to see, yeah.
Needs a FIFA pause, this. Come on, there we go.
Oh, come on, Moura.
The game is frenetic at the moment.
It is. It's
complete lack of structure. This isn't something you used to see in a City game.
Checking now.
Oh, hold on. If the ball ain't...
Oh my gosh! Have a little look. Oh, it's been given! Get it!
That must be a record.
It took 5 minutes to give the decision.
Time does not adhere to Mike Dean.
Oh my gosh! No, I'm not happy. And you're laughing, and you made the mistake. Serge Aurier, no, why are you making the tackle? Look.
Oh, it is.
Oh, that's a bit... Oh.
That's not even a penalty. It took 20 minutes to make the decision now.
OK, we're just having a look at the an alternative angle here. And he steps on his toe.
That's not a penalty.
Gentlemen, is that enough to concede a penalty? Very quick, snap reaction.
I think it's a clear and obvious, so probably not, but we'll take it.
I tell you now, this is what I'm doing, what Jose's doing. That is Jose giggling at the moment. Giggling. It's not even a penalty, Mike.
The right decision was made in the end.
Oh, Dave, you know it's not the right decision. I don't think he's got...
That's why we separated Clinton and Dave.
He got a tiny bit of the ball. I don't think
give him a decision.
I agree with you. He shouldn't be challenging like that. Sergio Aguero is going away from the goal. He is the penalty taker.
Fine.
He'll score. I wish...
Oh, yeah.
Oh. Mike Dean, time bender there. 6 minutes to make a decision, and it is a penalty.
It was very
Gundogan's taken it. This is for Nicky.
It took 7 minutes.
Keeper's left.
The time keeps going up.
Keeper's left.
He's got a good record from the spot.
Oh
no, we've not got back-to-back penalties, have we?
He's going to give that. That's another penalty.
Oh, it's all kicking off here.
Give him off!
Sterling versus Lloris. Hold on, we're just debating. We're just debating whether it's another penalty.
Get on him! It's a great save.
I think he might have given a goal kick.
Oh, Lloris and Carl Walker.
Zinchenko, get down!
No,
that looked more of a penalty than a
We've got to call Nicky Weaver the Oracle from now on.
Yes, Nicky, clip that out.
Goalkeeper's left.
Right, there's an absolute melee happening in Tottenham's 6-yard box.
It's going to be given.
It's got a look
that
in
looked
it.
more of a penalty, didn't it?
I think he's got a piece of him.
I didn't see it.
Oh,
great angle there.
Okay, we're just revisiting.
That's a pen.
That's a pen.
He's tried to pull out, but it's a pen for me.
Yeah, that is a pen. Look.
Now what do you do? Do you keep Ilkay on? Or do you swap to Serge?
It is a penalty.
Would this be the first back-to-back penalty seekers we've seen on the
It's a
football
penalty.
social?
It
I
is a
think
penalty.
so. No foul. No era penal.
That's more of a penalty than the first one.
That's what I'm saying. That's more of a penalty than the first one.
What's going on, Clay?
Go see VAR.
Okay.
I'm lost.
I mean, Clinton, my vision's pretty poor at the best of times. But did Sterling stand on Lloris's arm there? Is that why it's not a penalty?
No, he didn't. He didn't.
I think Lloris is trying.
I think Lloris is trying to go and then pulls away.
Jose wants a booking for diving on the sideline. This game is all
And he's
kicking
already
off.
been booked.
It's not.
And he's already been booked.
Yeah, if you're joining us,
booked.
it's pure chaos, and we
on.
apologise for nothing. So
Who's he booking here? It could be
Sterling was
us.
arguing with someone and they were.
And he's got a yellow. This is
imagine.
No, I think it was a yellow for Hugo Lloris for kicking off all that stuff.
Does this happen if Mike Dean's not on the pitch?
Yeah, but let's just thank God he is on the
Pure fear, and that's why I love him.
What a save, though.
Great
That was a great save.
It was low down, so he had to dig it out.
Sterling not get a yellow for diving?
Never a dull game when Dean's on the scene.
If he's made contact, surely it's a penalty. And if he's not, it's a dive.
Where's he going here? Mike Dean's doing a wonder. This is peak Dean.
He's still got his yellow card out.
Where's that gone to?
Who is this?
Oh no, it's
Alderweireld for his
still got it out though.
for his part in the melee. This is absolute fear.
He's gone past for Sterling.
Yeah, he's not Sterling. It's Zinchenko.
He's gone past Sterling.
Zinchenko
He's gone past Sterling.
Zinchenko.
I go back to him.
Okay. Actually, he's not perpetuated the drama. He's taken the sting out of it there. Zinchenko and Alderweireld, who were in the melee, have been booked. We move on,
could have called him over.
Breathless, though. That's what we like to see.
That's what we need. Where's he going now?
Welcome to the football social.
Dean's on a wonder.
He's going over to the bench.
This is the best referee walk we've ever seen.
Will's currently got 7 different angles on Mike Dean.
I love Mike Dean.
That is a pen.
Is it though? Is it? Nicky, you've seen it from the reverse angle. Is a goalkeeper pen or not?
Lloris has tried to pull away, but it looks like it's clipped him to me a little bit.
He's gone full T-Rex.
That's, like you said, that's more of a penalty than the first one.
I like that one too, Rick.
I'm glad someone did.
No, mate, that was really good, man.
Cheers.
Tell you what, no goal, but that was just great bit of action there.
Can we get a price boost on Mike Dean to give a red card before the game is out? Because I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones, gentlemen.
What do you argue him for? It's a foul.
This game, it's a good job we're in the 43rd minute because it's in danger of boiling over now, isn't it?
Is there a big
It's a good game. This is what you wanted. They needed something like this to liven the game up.
Clinton Morrison, as he just sits back going, this is what you want to see.
This is what you want to see. They needed livening up the game.
Nil-nil doesn't tell the whole story.
It doesn't, exactly.
I love tiki-taka, but I love Mike Dean getting involved.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He just loves it, doesn't he, Mike Dean?
I actually think he handled that with grace. And poise.
And to call time himself was quite good.
You forgot to say, Will, Sergio Aurier got away with a lot there because it was a stupid tackle.
Yeah, well,
he's lucky, Lloris, he is lucky. Very lucky, Lloris.
Right back school day one, if he's going away from goal, just fend him off.
And now we're having deja vu, where it's this free kick we had 10 minutes ago, Tottenham 25 yards out, it's gone to the back post.
Back post, Dele!
And Dele Alli's managed to pick it up.
He's improved so much on the jersey, isn't he? He's almost like back to the player that he once was, isn't he?
I feel like the ultimate warrior after that.
And it's a corner.
I'm glad I don't play in this day and age, please.
Well, you'd be off now, you would be.
I'd be off, but I'm not as sharp as these guys. I look at them now, son's just turned him, I'm thinking I would have been still turning now.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Clinton, what manager would you prefer to play under, Jose or Pep?
Oh, that's easy, Pep.
Gary Megson.
Pep, Gary Megson. That's how I'm laughing at that. Pep Guardiola all day long. I just think he would improve me and stuff like
Pep or
that.
Klopp?
I like Jose. Now, see, that's hard, that one, Pep or Klopp.
Well,
I like Klopp.
I think easy for you.
That's a difficult one. Can I say both?
No.
Pep, when I was at City, when Stuart Pearce manager, Pep actually came on trial for a week.
Really?
Trained with us for a week.
What period was this? When he was leaving Serie A?
2005-06, something like
after
that.
Roma, yeah? After Roma. So he was left pass, he was at Roma, and then that was the end of his...
And then came, and then I think, for whatever reason, they didn't sign him, and he ended up going to a team out in Qatar, something like that. But it was really good. It was technically brilliant.
Yeah.
Whether Stuart Pearce, I don't know whether they could not get a deal done or what, he wanted too much money, but yeah, trained with us for a week.
Wow. No, I have Stuart Pearce down as a man that can appreciate cultured players. So
Come on.
I mean, great tackle there. Is that Tanganga?
No, Sir, Jack.
Oh, go on, son. Sitting in the centre of pitch.
Not going to run past him, is he?
I think he just likes to make
and he
tackles,
knows that already, don't he?
Right, OK, so Kevin De Bruyne just calming things down. Switch of play to Zinchenko. Gundogan's on the ball now. Oh, what a last 5 minutes, gentlemen.
I love it.
We have 4 minutes injury time as well to enjoy. If you've just tuned in for all the drama, then please subscribe to Football Daily and Soccer AM. Send Will your questions because he will get them asked at half time. And just enjoy the second half with us because this has been some first half despite it being goalless.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Morris, what a touch. Morris has a very Berbatov first touch, doesn't he? One of the silkiest first touches in the Premier League.
Yeah, he's fantastic. He's got so much ability. And the last couple of months has been fantastic.
Yeah, I agree.
Are you glad he's kind of fulfilling his potential now at City? Because a bit of a, not to say rough start, but not...
quiet to start off with.
Underwhelming there.
Yeah, once he comes in, you don't know if he's going to go left or right, and he scores good goals. And he's one of them, he gets you off your seat and you'd pay to watch him. Apart from Clinton, who wants a free ticket.
You know me, Weez. You know me.
It's just get you.
I still owe you a tenner. I know I do. I'll pay that after this.
Good stuff. Right, let's have a couple of comments then. During injury time, as this game is
Come on, City.
Yes, one here from Cash. He said if that's not a penalty, then shouldn't Sterling get a second yellow for diving?
That's what Jose was saying, wasn't he?
Still people in disbelief, even the aftermath as well.
I think the second one is a penalty, definitely. Lloris does ever so well, but and then do you book him? Because if you don't give the penalty, then you've got to think he's diving.
I think sometimes if as a striker, if you're expecting the hit from the keeper, you might
go down,
try to protect yourself and go down. So I don't think it's a blatant dive.
I agree.
So I sort of think maybe that you shouldn't get booked for that. And obviously if he did, it's a big call.
Yeah. One here from Lewis O'Donnell. He says, do you think Manchester City will win the Champions League, Nicky?
The Oracle.
They're more than capable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. They've obviously got a tough draw in the next round with Real Madrid, who aren't the Real Madrid of 3 or 4 years ago, but
much improved in the last couple of months.
Yeah, absolutely. But City can beat anyone over 2 legs. Absolutely, they can beat anyone over 2 games. So yeah, they've got a chance. I think they're favourites, are they? Which I don't understand why they're favourites in front of Liverpool. But
what do you think of Pep Guardiola's comments today, where he said, "If I don't win the Champions League at City, I'll be deemed a failure"?
I don't think he'll be deemed a failure, but that's the holy grail. The owners want, everybody wants it. We've won the Premier League now a few times. They've won multiple cups now. They seem to have got the name on the League Cup every year now, but the Champions League's the one that everybody wants to win.
Ball!
Right.
Cold, clear, nice cold, baby!
And we're talking about how good Aguero is. That's a great chance that he's dropping to 8.
Mikel Forcel's above him now.
Ice cold to lukewarm there.
Sterling does well with it, don't he? Cuts it back and...
It's a great tackle from Serge.
He's got more time than he thinks. Couldn't get it. No.
I mean, a minute ago I was saying this game was fizzling out a little bit before half-time.
It does well there.
Oh, is that a gilt-edged chance?
Yeah,
should have been better there?
Yeah, a man of his class should be at least hitting the target.
Defenders on the floor. If he could just get under it and he just can't get his foot round it,
Aguero then maybe should have given City the lead before half-time. Clinton, City are 7-2 to win the Champions League. They're actually favourites. Do you agree with that?
You can see why, but I think Liverpool are the favourites. Listen, I believe the Champions League is someone in one of the English team are going to win it. Liverpool and Man City are going to win the Champions League. I think, without a shadow of doubt, they're the 2 best teams that are still left in it, and people might say, nah, no chance. At the end of the season, it will be either Liverpool or Man City that win the Champions League. Okay. That's what I think, most definitely.
Wow.
What a game of football that was, by the way.
What a breathless first half. And if you're just joining us, get your questions in the comments, because Will's going to ask them in a quick-fire fashion in a couple of minutes. Yeah, very civilised out at the end of the game. Raheem Sterling and Hugo Lloris had a little fist bump there, so clearly he's been forgiven. If there was any dive, Nicky, you saying he was just bracing himself. I think that's the most diplomatic solution to that. Martin Dean's got the match ball, obviously. OK, then let's have some questions, Will, as we're all gawping at the screen.
Yes, Nicky, we couldn't have you making your first appearance on the Football Social without talking about that Gillingham final. Memories from it, celebrations. I mean, just talk me through the day.
Just unbelievable. I was only... it was over 20 years ago now, so it's... I think about it every day, probably. Whenever I'm in Manchester, all people want to talk about that game and that day. And yeah, for me, it was really early on in my career. So it sort of, I don't know, I burst onto the scene
with that game, if you like. And it was, I think, as a goalkeeper, it's a really specific moment of a penalty shootout, because it's sort of like it's the equivalent of a last-minute winner, I suppose, for a striker. So yeah, I mean, a little bit fresh-faced there.
I love the hair.
Curtains are going to come back. Yeah, me and Jason Donovan will come back. But yeah, just great times, great memories, and who knows where the club would have been if we hadn't have gone up at the first attempt. And yeah,
that's a big point, isn't it? A lot of people, like, that was so pivotal to obviously them getting back up.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult division to get out of, and, you know, 20 years is a long time, but it could have been so different the last 20 years, and that's almost like maybe the first rung on the ladder to perhaps where they are now. But just fantastic times, one that I'm hugely proud of to be part of, and not just for me, for my family as well. And yeah, just great times. I didn't realise, I was only just turned 20 at the time, didn't realise the sort of impact it would have had. That we'd be talking about it 20 years later on. Obviously, the way City have done and how well City have gone on, it makes the story a little bit romantic. They started from down there, and it's almost like that was the starting point to, you know, because we went up again the year after, so we had back-to-back promotions, come down, then back up. So my sort of first four seasons playing were 3 promotions and a relegation. So it was...
Back to riches undersells it, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it was... I thought, yeah, this is great, this, you know, and obviously... But yeah, just fantastic times, and one thing for sure, I think it wasn't boring, and I think if you're a City fan who was alive then and can remember all that, you really appreciate everything you've got now. If we're talking now, if City finish second and Pep doesn't win the Champions League, and he's saying it'll be a failure, then that shows you how far you know, everyone, you know, unless you're going to win it, second's the best you can be, and you just can't win it every. I think there's only Man United won the Premier League 3 years on the spin. City have done it 2 years on the spin. Liverpool are just playing football from another planet at the minute. So it just shows how far the club have come in a relatively short space of time. That if they finish second, it'll be disappointing for everybody.
Yeah, how times have changed. Kicking on from that promotion, didn't you almost set a Manchester City record at the time for clean sheets, and then someone that may or may not be in this studio might have curtailed that record?
Yeah, well, I was lucky enough in my first season, the one that ended at Wembley, I broke the clean sheet record, which had held for... Joe Hart's actually got it now. He beat it in about 2010-11, I think. And then the season after, I think I went 6 games, 6 clean sheets on the spin, 5 or 6, and one more would have been the club record. And we played Crystal Palace at Main Road. And
wow, I didn't even know what you're talking about. You just come to... What did I score?
Yeah, do you remember?
What was the goal, mate?
Palace, it nicked in it was a corner, I think it was flicked on the in, it nicked in at the back stick.
Oh, yeah, that's where I score goals. You know me with yard out.
Yeah, lethal from it.
Yeah, lethal from Adam. Okay. Sorry, mate, I apologise.
The record went out the window, so yeah, it was gutted. So I've got Clinton to thank for that.
Did we draw one out? Yeah, we drew one
on the spot 15 years later.
I apologise, but not just because he's here, but I played with him at Sheffield Wednesday. Great guy, great goalkeeper, and also a great guy to have in the change room. You know, like when you've played football and you've been with people and you think to themselves, like you're on a show like this and you'll play with people and you're like, well, I'm not sure. It's him that's on here. I'm not sure if we're going to get on. But when it's people like him that I've gotten well with in my career, who's a great person to have, he's one of the best. Like, he's here and he's being quiet, but when he's in the change room, he is the banner king. He is brilliant at the banner, but he's had a great career.
Different kind of banner.
Different kind of banner, yeah. But it is a great banner.
Clinton was lively as well.
Yeah, I was lively. Well, everyone knows that.
Everyone knows that. Clinton's exactly the same as he was then.
Yeah.
When I signed for Sheffield Wednesday, Clinton had been there. I signed right at the end of the pre-season. Clinton had been there like a month or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'd obviously played against Clinton, and he's obviously got
big mouth. Yeah, be honest, mate.
But do you know what you see with Clinton's what you get.
Yeah.
I think when I walked in, he told me we were going to get 30 goals that year.
I lied.
Got about 7.
I got about 7.
No, but like
the ambition was there.
It was there.
We had a good team, didn't we?
No, we did. We did have a good team. It was really enjoyable. For the 2 years that I was at, I went towards the end of my career, Sheffield Wednesday. It's a huge club. Should be in the Premier League. It's that good. It's great people there. But people like this made the club better for us. He knew what it was like. I used to tell the lads how important it is in Sheffield and for Sheffield Wednesday. It was just a great change room. But yeah, that was the one mistake I made, telling Weez I'm going to score 30 goals. And I think he reminded me at the end of the season when I was getting sold for like £5.
Nicky, you're still at Sheffield Wednesday as a goalkeeper coach now.
Yep.
Flirting with the playoffs again. Got Gary Monk.
Yep.
Confident of getting up there
Yeah,
this season?
we had a really good sort of indifferent start. Yeah, we had a good start, and then just before Christmas we beat Bristol City. I think that put us up to 3rd.
Right.
And then from sort of nowhere really, we had a few indifferent results, and we suddenly find ourselves sort of 10th or 11th now. So, but we're still in touching distance. We made some good signings on deadline day. So, I think there's 17 left. If we could put a good run together, we've certainly got a chance of getting in the playoffs. But there's a lot of teams involved, and the championship. So. Just get strange results, you know, and it's hard to get that consistency. So I think the teams, we're in the pack, there's no doubt, but the teams now that are most consistent in that pack will prevail into the playoffs and automatic. Because even at one point it looked like Leeds and West Brom were going to run away with it, and they faltered.
Always the way, isn't it?
So although they're still 1st and 2nd, the pack has caught them up. So yeah, it's a very exciting league. The games come thick and fast, and you know you can't take any opponent lightly.
Just finally, how much would it mean to you, obviously working there, supporting the club, to take them up into the Premier League?
Oh, it'd be fantastic, just fantastic. Obviously, what's happening over the other side of the city at Sheffield United, they've done great. So to have 2 clubs in the Premier League would be fantastic. And the problem with Sheffield Wednesday, they came out of the Premier League at the wrong time. So they came out sort of 20 years ago when all the big money was coming in.
Yeah.
So they need to get. You know, they've been out for 2. It's a huge club.
Yeah.
And, you know, the problem we have at Sheffield Wednesday is, you know, we get 23, 24, 25,000, which is great, but it holds 40,000. So it doesn't feel like it's full every week.
Yeah.
And when you look at, no disrespect to Bournemouth, teams like Bournemouth playing the Premier League, getting, you know, 11, 12,000, whatever it is, you know, a team like Sheffield Wednesday should be there, but no one's got a divine right to be there. You look at some massive club, Forest, Leeds, some huge clubs in the... I mean, Leeds have been out for, I think, 16 years now or something, so there's some huge clubs in the Championship.
Doing extremely well there to conceal the bitterness when talking about Sheffield United.
No, I'm not bitter.
The ultimate diplomat.
Chris Wilder's done an unbelievable... We spoke about him before. He's done an unbelievable job, and he's taken players that were playing in League One, you know, sort of 18 months ago, now to playing in the Premier League, and not just playing in the Premier League or holding their own, doing well, and, you know... They've been the surprise package of the season, I think.
Yeah, and his source of inspiration, we're talking about this off camera, is actually Sean Dyche. Now, we can actually hear from the likes of Sean Dyche. Just a quick reminder of the score, it was 0-0. We're going to hear from both managers in just a second. Dave, you might even ask you to break down the game once more if it's not too painful. But here we go, gentlemen.
Well, Sean, of course, it's a draw, but for large parts, did you feel like you dominated that?
Well, I don't know about dominated it, but we had a good grasp of the game, I thought. We asked enough questions to score a goal. Unfortunately, we didn't. I thought we kept them down to as low as you can against Arsenal. They often create chances, but I thought the balance of the side was very good today. You know, both in possession to cause them trouble enough. Like I say, I felt we probably deserved a goal. And then out of possession, I thought the work rate from their shape, the effort and the understanding of the tactical plan was very important and very delivered very well today, I thought.
So, if not dominate then, do you feel at least like it was a game that was on your terms for the most part?
Well, like most teams, that's what you hope to do. You know, we play against very, very good technical sides, and it's how you can play against them, you know, and you've got to find a way to win. If you can't win, you get a point, and today we've done that. Kind of got away from that horrible fact we hadn't beaten them. I thought we probably, on the balance, probably deserved to just edge it today. But no grand statements, but I think it's another solid show of us continually looking to improve, and I think that's 3 good performances, very good performance actually, against top-class opposition. So.
Mikel, what did you make of that? I might be reading it wrong, but looking at you on the touchline, you did look frustrated more or less throughout.
Not throughout. I was very pleased with the first 15-20 minutes. The way we came out, the way we controlled the game, the opportunities that we generated, and we were on top of the game. I think we had the chances to score 1 or 2 goals in that moment, and when you do that, after here is always difficult. After 20-25 minutes, we start to give some sloppy passes away, to concede free kicks, throw-in, corner, and that sequence here, it's very difficult to get out of that. The second one was very poor the way we started. The first 20 minutes, we could not control the long balls. The second balls, the third phase, we couldn't stop the crosses, and we were in big trouble. And after that, I think we reacted in the last 20 minutes. Again, we generated some really good situations, some clear opportunities as well, and that was it.
What should you or could you have done to break that pattern of crosses and pressure?
It's very difficult. If you don't win the duels, you win the second ball, you have to defend your own box. They commit a lot of players forward. They are really good at it. They just chip the ball forward. The ball lands very close to them, and if you don't win that ball, you have to defend your box. The best way to do it is to have the ball, to play in the opponent's half, and when we've done it, we had the control, and when we don't, you have to defend your box.
Do you think the injury to Saka, which happened pretty early, did that disturb you?
It did disturb the way we wanted to attack, and obviously the scenarios we wanted to create during the game. But it's not an excuse. Granit played there left back. I think he did well. We tried to change the formation a little bit as well a couple of times, and that was it.
So Arteta finishing off there, the bit about Saka. Have you been impressed by him this season?
This is a bit of a rogue shout, but I think Saka's arguably been our best player this season, and that's mental for an 18-year-old, particularly to kind of come from nowhere. Because beginning of the season under Unai, he was actually playing up front as like a third striker, like a third footballer on the left. Then he kind of went back into like left wing back, and now he's kind of essentially been like our kind of left back at the moment. And he every time he plays, he just seems to impress, and he seems to get better and better. And I've been extremely impressed with him. So it's probably more damning of Arsenal's season that he's probably been our best player, but he's got an extremely bright future. So I'm very excited about young Saka.
I think he's great, like you said. The injury to Kieran Tierney forcing him into the left-back role, unfamiliar, in the same sense that I suppose right-back was to Maitland-Niles a year and a half ago, and he kind of made that position his own before the return of Hector Bellerin. Have you been impressed with these sort of youngsters? I know you've got your eye on young talent in London. You've got a keen eye for that, Clinton. Have you been impressed by him this season?
Yeah, everyone talks about the youngsters at Chelsea, and there is a lot of good youngsters at Chelsea, but there's good youngsters at Arsenal. Yeah. Saka's been really good. Martinelli's going to be a hell of a player. I really like him. I like Willock. I think Willock's really good in midfield. He can learn off. He was saying earlier in the week he learns off the players like Ozil. Like, obviously, maybe not Ozil's work rate, but his ability on the football, Ozil's ability on the football is brilliant. Maitland-Niles, I like him. He's not a fullback, but he's done a good job there. He wants to play higher up. There's loads of good youngsters there at Arsenal. Reece Nelson, Smith Rowe, who's gone on loan. I could go all there. I feel like, Eddie Nketiah. So there's a lot of good youngsters there, and I think they got the right man at the club who will produce these youngsters and put them in the first team in Arteta. And I think, as I said, I say it many times, in a few years, Arsenal will be the team of old. Like, give them 2 or 3 years under Arteta, few transfer windows, but they have to back him. The board have to back him and spend money, but with the youngsters and signing players, Arsenal, and being as a Tottenham fan, hurts me to say Arsenal will be there or thereabouts coming in a few years, because they are a good footballing team, and they're still a huge club. They can still attract good players at that football club, and I am impressed with the youngsters, really good youngsters.
Good stuff. Are you as bullish about Arteta and if he'll be a success as Clinton?
I think he will. I think you can already see what he's trying to do. He's obviously learnt from the best. He had a glittering, obviously, playing career. He's been at Man City now a good few years. I think he'll be quite firm with the players. I don't think he'll have any messing about. I think his demands will be high. If you don't run around and work hard enough and meet that criteria, you won't play. And I think he's made that clear to the players. He'll need a few. It's not a quick fix at Arsenal, is it? So I think the good thing is the fans will give him time. He's got the respect of everyone there at the club, former captain, obviously. It is his first appointment, so it is a risk, but I suppose every managerial appointment is a risk. But I think he'll do well, but it might take him a year or two to stamp his authority down and bring the players in and get the players out that he wants to.
Right. It wasn't just, like Nicky's saying, about bringing in players, right? It was about addressing the current culture that surrounded Arsenal, and that it was toxic off the pitch, but on the pitch as well, issues with Ozil, with Xhaka. Unai Emery had 5 captains at one point, didn't he? Does that? I think that's is it a matter of addressing that sort of stuff first?
Yes, that definitely had to be sorted out. For us to actually progress as a club, we had to sort it out. But I think the point about Arteta being given time, one of the things that he's done is us as fans, like, you can tell they actually care. And they actually want to play for that shirt again. Which is, once you see that, don't get me wrong, there probably was a bit of arrogance from Arsenal fans the last couple of years, where like we should be guaranteed Champions League football. That's no longer the case. But what Arteta, I think, has done in this short spell of time is, they say, the players now play for that shirt, and if you as a fan can see that, then you're at least going to give them a bunch of players a bit more time than if they just I don't really care, and if they're just giving away cheap like goals where it looks as if they don't care. So. I'm very positive.
It definitely gives across that authoritarian vibe, doesn't it, in his post-match interviews? I would not be staring into those dark eyes of his and disobeying him.
There's one thing, let me tell you about Mikel Arteta. You see, at the moment, his hair, is so like dark.
It's like a Ken doll.
Give him 6 months, he'll be great. That's what it does to you as management.
A cap like you, Clint.
Yeah, he'll be like this. He'll be like this. He'll be like that. That's the stress of management.
That's going to be the barometer for the job he's doing and how great his hair is in 6 months.
There's one thing for sure. I don't think he's going to go bald, is he?
No way.
Yes, very solid. Champions League hairline for sure. Right, the game has kicked back off.
Half a chance for Spurs there.
Tottenham almost in there. Dele Alli trying to slip in some, didn't quite materialise. No changes, by the by, just in case you're wondering at home. Well, anticipating anywhere, but it was a very closely fought first half. But Man City back on the attack here. Let's get this game back underway. Let's hope it starts how it finished, eh? Will, have we got any other questions to keep us going in the first 2 or 3 minutes?
Yes, in the spirit of Doogie Critchley, one here from Chocolate Cookies. He says, do you think Harry Kane's time at Spurs is coming to an end?
No.
Will he move in the next transfer window? Okay. Now, obviously, from a Spurs perspective, that's a no, but he's still not won any major trophies. So is it something that we could maybe see him trying to force a move?
I think the thing with Harry Kane, he is such a valuable asset to Spurs, it would cost an awful lot of money to get him out of Spurs.
Yes.
And I don't think he's quite at that value in the world stage that he once was to be able to actually justify the £120 million. I think he'll be at Spurs, probably, that's it.
One-man club. Clint, what about you?
The time will come eventually where he'll want to move. I don't think it's going to happen.
Is that an upwards move or?
Yeah, an upwards move.
Yeah.
Harry Kane will always score you goals. He'll always be one of the front runners for the Golden Boot in the Premier League. He's an out-and-out goal scorer. As soon as he sees that goal, he's a selfish striker, but that's how you have to be. To be the best, you have to be selfish. He's really selfish. If there's an easier pass, he'll go for the goal because he wants to score goals, and that's what makes him different from a lot of other strikers. So eventually there'll come a time if Tottenham don't start winning trophies where he'll want to say, I want to go and win trophies and then move on. So I think the next couple of years is a crucial time, not for also for Harry Kane and also for Tottenham Hotspurs, because they'll need to win stuff or he will eventually move on.
I'm in agreement with Dave. I don't think he can... Oh, let's just stay with this Tottenham attack here. Son breaking away. Lucas Moura.
There was no advantage there.
Cleared by Fernandinho. Where was the foul there then, Clinton?
I saw a foul.
What's annoyed you?
That was a foul. And he's gave it the other way.
He's giving it to City. What on?
I give up. I don't think I can talk anymore. I'm going to go silent for the whole show.
If I talk, I'm in big trouble.
Oh, he's in!
Oh, it's good defending.
Oh, he's still doing it! Oh, red penalty! Off the line! No! What's a sequence of events?
Wow, we had missed one-on-ones. We had missed open goals. There was someone on the line. Nicky, what happened from a Man City perspective there? Gundogan blazing that over.
You need a minute.
Chances. Morris breaks away with it. He slips Sterling through. It looked like it's good defending. But Lloris comes into no man's land, doesn't quite get it. Aguero had a chance that was cleared off the line, and then Gundogan 6 yard out.
Line, and like Nicky said, Gundogan putting that over. I'm not quite sure what Hugo Lloris is doing there. We've had the perfect epitome of Hugo Lloris in this game, haven't we? One outstanding save with his foot, and there he's just come and cleared out his own defender.
That's something he struggled with when he first came over. First year when he come into the Premier League, he really struggled with the ball over the top. He did get himself in a few muddles, but since then
he's kind of anticipating where it's going to land.
Yeah, I think he was too aggressive off his line. His starting position was too high. And it's something that he's got a lot better at. Listen, he's a fantastic goalkeeper, World Cup winner. But yeah, that's...
So if your line's too high and your run's too aggressive, you mean you can't pull out of it when you...
Yeah, sometimes if you start too high and you're on your front foot, which you've got to be on your front foot, but if you start too high, you might get involved in things that you shouldn't really be getting involved in. And, you know, you always look at things, is the defender winning the race? Is it really wide?
Okay.
So if it's really wide, you don't really want to be coming out that unless you're 100% sure you're going to get it.
You don't give yourself options.
Yeah, and obviously when the defender gets... and the goalkeeper gets close like that, then there's problems.
Okay, well that was Gundogan who missed the final opportunity. He should have scored potentially. That was the first penalty miss of his career, by the by, gentlemen. Manchester City have now missed 4 of the last 6. I think Gabby Jesus responsible for 2 of them, Sterling and now Gundogan. So not been great from the spot for them this season.
Aguero would be, ripping the ball up. All the records he's going for at the minute.
Even if he's missed
it's a free goal almost sometimes from the strikers, isn't it?
There we have it, Manchester City starting in this game starting in explosive fashion. Once again, that's exactly what we wanted to see. We've had everything but a goal, haven't we, so far? Let's get some questions in then, Will.
Yes, one in here about Jurgen Klopp. Obviously, he's stated that he won't be attending the next round of the FA Cup because of the mid-season break. Clint's in already. What did you make of that, Clint? And will you be going on holiday with Jurgen yourself?
Listen, I can understand the players not playing because it's a winter break, and the players, they play a lot of football. I totally get that. And as a manager, I'm not a manager, so I can't speak for Jurgen Klopp. He might be mentally training, and he might have already booked a holiday away with his family. But if I'm a young player, I want my Jurgen Klopp just to be there on the bench and just come back for the night. And then go back on your holiday just to watch us play against Shrewsbury. We need our manager there. Can't have the under-23 manager, even though they would have worked under the under-23 manager and they would know him. But Jurgen Klopp's the manager of Liverpool Football Club, and so I think he should be there. I like Jurgen Klopp. I think he's one of the best managers around. But on this one, I think he should be there. And listen, I know he needs a break, and he does need a break, but he should be there just for that one night. Just fly back in and then fly back out and have your break.
Yeah, I agree with Clint to an extent. I mean, if they're third in the Premier League, I think he'd be there, wouldn't he?
Yeah.
I think it's the fact that they've got such the big lead and he's obviously flavoured them up and everything. I do get it. I totally get it for the players, but imagine for them young players playing, if you go out and perform well and Jurgen Klopp then gives you a pat on the back and say, well done, son. Yeah. Imagine how good that's going to make you feel. You never forget them moments as a young player. So I understand why he's doing it, and managers do need a break as well. Mentally, obviously more than physically, but I think it'd be nice for him to be there. But he's the manager of the football club, and it's his prerogative to.
It's been a recurring theme this season, hasn't it? Managers from Premier League clubs, particularly
the top half, complaining about the fixture pile-up. Do you sympathise with them, or are you in the boat? Boat of there's been 700 plus clubs in the FA Cup this season, for example. This is their lifeline. A lot of them kind of shut up and get on with it.
You knew before the season started what possibly could happen. But I don't know. It's really difficult. I think he's trying to make a stance as well. If he just sort of caves in to what everybody wants and goes to the game, then by him not going to the game, everybody's talking about it, and it's maybe what he wants, and then something may happen. Because although we're having this sort of not really a winter break, is it a week off? I think the foreign managers want sort of 3 or 4 weeks off, like they're doing on the continent.
I think, they moan about the pile-up where, you like the Boxing Day games. Everyone loves that. And then you play again on the 28th or 29th, which is difficult. And then you again have to play again on the 1st or the 2nd. So stuff like that is difficult. I think one of them dates can be taken out because I think it's too much football. And then on the 4th or the 5th or the 6th, you're playing an FA Cup game. So there is a lot of games in there. So maybe one of them 2 games can come out. I totally get it with that. But the 26th, the Boxing Day, everyone loves Boxing Day. You can never get rid of that. It's brilliant.
Football.
Yeah.
As a player,
Christmas, yes.
You have to make sacrifices as a player, but it's good sacrifices, what we're used to.
Yes.
And I remember as a kid going to football matches over the festive period. It's brilliant. You get bumper crowds, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
And they maybe could do it at some other time, but it's obviously very difficult to try and squeeze it in.
Back to Klopp, though, isn't it sort of almost his fault that he's been put in this situation? Because if he'd have maybe put 1 or 2 more experienced players against Shrewsbury, it's not like it's the 6th, 7th round. It's a replay that was brought on by his selection.
Yeah, and obviously they were 2-0 up, so they should have been out of sight really. But
chance.
Play him. Great pressure from Tottenham.
He's offside, surely.
Lucas Moura playing in Dele Alli. Who is offside? Little delay cost him there, big time.
To be fair, do you not think against Shrewsbury he still put out quite a strong team? Yeah, Matip, Lovren, Fabinho.
Adrian,
Minamino. He had experienced players playing, and he still brought on Firmino and Salah. But you got to give credit to
the young players. Beat Everton in the previous.
The young players, the Jones.
Champion that, didn't they? Lions in the Republic for that. Playing the youngsters
if they'd held on and won 2-1,
nothing. He would have been. Everything would have been perfect.
Is a more reasonable request?
You're okay, Will? Okay, mate. Just checking.
Very caring as always, Clint.
Yes.
Is a more reasonable request not to play the replays as opposed to fielding your strongest team in all these various cup competitions? Should we do rid of replays?
No, because what you realise, you need replays because replays help the smaller clubs.
The gate recipes.
I remember being at Exeter and we played, and towards the end of my career when I finished, we played Liverpool and we got a draw, and then we went to the replay and it was brilliant. All the Exeter fans and the players enjoyed it. Some of them are never going to ever play at Anfield or been to Anfield. It saved the club. They bought a new 3G training pitch beside it, and it invested the club for the next 2 years because it's a fan base, so it is brilliant for the lower teams. So you can't scrap that, the replays. That's what makes the FA Cup.
But it feels like something's got to.
I'm sure if all the Premier League clubs got together and filtered some money down to the lower teams in the bottom 2 divisions, for example, say, and scrap the replays
that's
on an annual basis. I don't know. Listen, I'm not.
No, I think that's a great suggestion. A few people have said that you can come to a deal where you scrap the replays, but you get a bit.
Instead of I think you get 45% of the gate receipt now. Is it?
Yeah.
Chop that to 40, and then that extra 5% can go to get filtered down.
Yeah.
What about this as a solution? So,
please,
when Tottenham played Spurs, right, 2 Premier League teams that don't want to replay, as long as the club can come to a mutual agreement and say, right, one game, if it goes draw, we'll have penalties and that's it.
What, the Southampton and Spurs game?
But then say Spurs are playing Exeter, obviously Exeter, that's not going to be a mutually agreed, so you get the replay. And then that incentivises Spurs to play better.
That was a suggestion as well, the 2 Prem...
But then you might get conflict between a manager and the club.
What do you mean?
For example, the manager might not want the game, but the club might want the game, or vice versa. So I think it has to be one or the other. I don't think you can do it on individual games per like.
I scrapped my idea then, Nicky. I'll take it away.
Oh, I think your idea was really good, though.
Thank you, Clinton. Thank you, mate.
But here's something that he's looking at, and I'm sure over the next year.
I love it. Hello, Blue Nose. Yeah, don't worry.
You've got to look after me there.
Of course I am.
That was a good idea.
I was getting to know you, Nick, but...
Very sensitive, I will.
It's all right, mate. So, yeah, I do like it. Maybe if they're not as dependent on that 100, 150k that Clinton was talking about, and the money was more of a trickle down.
Even this week we've seen like in the Carabao Cup, like the scenes at Villa Park, which was absolutely I hated. But even you can get on board with it with like how like both teams absolutely went for it, didn't they? And Villa Park.
And there's nothing better than a cup upset, is there?
Yeah.
It's what.
Go on then.
Talking of upsets.
No, Gundogan, he left it. Gundogan. Why did he leave it? Did he think Aguero was behind him? Or was it Mike?
What happened there, Clinton? What was the build-up saying?
The build-up was brilliant. Kevin De Bruyne again into the little passes with Aguero, and then he picked the right pass at the right time to Mahrez. Mahrez cut it back, and it looked like Gundogan just left it. He must have thought Aguero was coming in behind it. As Nicky said, he was just behind. Give him it!
That just
behind Dele Alli. You want a left-footed player coming onto it, but Dele is a right-footed player coming onto it.
Carry on from midweek, isn't it? Like that one David Silva had against United, and he decided to pass it.
How's this game?
David Silva hates shooting from like.
He's too nice.
He can't end 0-0 this game, can he?
No. Please,
no.
No.
This is.
It can't be 0-0.
Both sets of fans deserve a goal here, don't they?
Come on,
There's some very positive stuff played by both sides. How do people think it's going to go in the comments? Where is there a general consensus?
Just people after goals, Chris, much like ourselves, everyone's after a cheeky goal, maybe a screamer, or just a simple tap-in, but lots of questions piling up as well. There's one here from Alfie. He says, who do you think Guardiola should think about taking penalties now? So we had Sterling with the double miss at Wolves, Jesus, Gundogan, Nicky.
Aguero's the obvious choice. I don't see anything past that really. It's bizarre how bad the record is.
You know when you the oracle that you were, you called that penalty shoot. Was that? Could you tell anything?
The reason why is I looked at Gundogan's run-up.
Yes.
And for him to put it in the other corner, it really had to reverse it almost. So it almost seemed like a natural for him to go in that corner.
Yeah.
And I was a bit lucky as well.
Is there anything that you do as a goalie in terms of like trying to put people off?
Yeah, just try and make yourself look as big as you could.
Yeah.
Maybe chuck a little feint in there. I mean, these days you get we watch, every game the goalkeepers are watching every penalty taker, where the last 5 or 6 penalties have been. But the penalty takers are aware of that, so they know they've got to go both ways. I think at the minute as well, down the middle's a bit of popular penalty.
Yes.
Where it never used to be. So I think down the middle's quite a popular one now.
Could you ever? Is it hard just to stay in the middle?
Yeah. I remember getting dinked by Paolo Di Canio at Upton Park once.
I mean, that's no mean feat, Di Canio.
And to be fair, I think we lost 4-1 in the end, and it was an injury time. And I said to him, would you have done that at 0-0? And he said, yeah. I remember diving down to my left.
No doubt.
And he dinked it, and I'm sort of watching it just as I'm laid there.
Go on, son. That's a foul. Great pace from Harry Winks.
Zinchenko.
Yeah, he's off.
Hey, see you, mate.
He's off.
See you, pal.
This could change the complexion of the game.
He knows it's a foul. He knows what he's doing. This match he's run, he leaned in on Winks. You did touch him. You did touch him. Don't even argue your case. He's in on goal.
Clinton, clear cut as that.
Yeah, it's Mahrez. Mahrez tries to be clever on the corner, trying to play it to the edge of the box. Winks reads it and he just bursts past a few City players, and Zinchenko just brings him down.
Get him off the pitch.
Run. Get off the pitch. I don't know why you're arguing me.
Well, and the first yellow was for him running over, getting involved in an argument.
Which was not his business.
Not his business, Clinton.
He ran literally 100 yards over.
This is what they've been talking about, the tactical foul, isn't it?
It is a tactical one.
He knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah. And he's arguing with that.
It's all stemmed from such a poor corner.
Exactly, from Mahrez. He tried to play it on the edge.
Look.
Yeah.
And now it's just...
Yeah, Mahrez not doing his fullback any favours there, but... He's not the last man. Does he need to do that there?
No.
He thinks he's doing it and getting away with it.
He's getting away with it.
You can't do it on a yellow, can you?
That's what I mean.
It's a definite yellow.
Yeah.
Definite yellow.
You'll take a yellow if you hadn't been booked. You say it's a good foul. But you don't do it when you're on a yellow.
Stupid sending off, because his first booking's for...
Arguing 100 yards away.
I know it's the heat of the moment and he stopped to counter-attack, but...
Mature that and that.
As soon as he's made contact, it's obstruction.
Well, Manchester City were readying Gabriel Jesus as well.
No, I think it's Cancelo now.
He just returned to the bench.
Yeah, I think Cancelo.
This is going to change their game plan in a major way. So how do Manchester City play here with 10 men?
Probably go on. 4-4-1 probably just.
But I think they're the only. I've seen them with 10 men. They still look like they've got 11. They're that good of a football. They've got footballers on there that are brilliant. That the brain is like having 2 players anyway.
Yeah.
So, but it will be difficult. And Tottenham, this should give them a bit of an advantage, because they had been defending a lot in the second half. It had been all Man City, and you thought it was only a matter of time. This should give Tottenham a big boost, but it'll still be difficult to break City down.
I mean, and Cancelo, obviously outstanding for Juventus last campaign, so not a bad player to bring on in this sort of scenario, is he? He can pretty much operate down a flank by himself. So, like you were saying, they've got players that can plug those gaps.
He's really good. They paid a lot of money for him, so you don't become a bad player overnight. It's just that Kyle Walker's been in good form, but he's a really good defender.
Do you think they're going to sacrifice here then, gentlemen, for Cancelo?
Mahrez.
Good.
After that corner.
Get to go!
On his debut! He was in the British booth winning it! It's come full circle!
What a finish that is, by the way. Technique. I knew there was a reason they signed him. They said they don't need a striker. Dave, you happy, mate? What's wrong, Dave?
Nobody can do that, Dave.
Look at the VAR, mate. Look at the VAR.
After that celebration, when you've got Bergwijn, what a signing. And he's played well.
15 goal contributions this season before this game, but his first for Tottenham in this 90. Great
It's a good finish, though, isn't it?
Describe the finish for us.
Oh, what a finish. Look, Winks plays a ball in, and City do well to defend it, Walker, but it falls to Moura. Great ball. The touch is fit. The chest and the volley as it drops is a difficult technique. It's a brilliant finish.
To do movement.
It's right. Weaves is right. The finish is magnificent.
No, it looks a bit unsarted. It's just slipped in between Otamendi and Fernandinho. It's a great finish. The game's just been flipped on its head in the last 2 minutes.
I don't know what that celebration is, but I love it. Yes.
You flip that round from against the run of play.
Of course, it's against the run of play. Man City have been the better team and should be, clearly in front. And it's probably disappointing because you see Pep wanted to bring on Cancelo. He was desperate to bring him on there. And they always say, don't make a substitution on a corner. And that's probably why he hasn't. But it's a great finish. Sometimes you got to hold your hand up and say, it's got to be something special to beat Edison. And the finish is really good into the bottom corner.
That is outstanding by Bergwijn on his debut. Sergio Aguero is the one that's been sacrificed.
Oh my!
To be fair, I tell you,
and gentlemen, that is the first.
He did exactly what I was about to say. He did it against Wolves, and the reason he did it against Wolves is because they want to play pace, and it kind of worked because De Bruyne and Sterling, when they went down to it, they were really good. But I know they ended up losing the game in the end. But that's because he took off Kevin De Bruyne late in that game. So I can understand why. But for me personally, if I need a goal, I'm keeping Aguero on the pitch. But I'm not telling Pep Guardiola what to do. He's one of the best managers in the world.
Absolutely.
Slipping under the radar there. That was Tottenham's first attempt.
See what I mean? That's how lucky it was.
Football.
There we have it, gentlemen. And we said that City had edged it in the second half, but maybe not to that extent. Let's see how they get on with 10 men. And in the absence of Sergio Aguero, like you said, is their go-to guy when they need a goal. All of a sudden, Tottenham find themselves 5th if it stays as it is and things aren't looking so bad despite only having 1 win in their previous 5 games before
Can the camera just pen in on Dave? Just there. Just look at that beautiful young man. Look at him. He's smiling. There he is. That's what I want to see.
Stupid Morris, mate. About his corner. Come on, City, let's go.
There is that thing, where fans get really irate when a player doesn't beat the first man on a corner, but that was probably the worst example of that.
It was.
He's got his whole of his defence up there. Right?
Careful. Off. You don't need to do tackles like that because he'll be ready to even make it even. You can't do stuff like that. You make it even. That's also a silly tackle.
Do you mean by the referee?
Yeah, he'll try to even. He'll even it up.
If you sent one off. At half time, if it's in the first half, you're saying you're leaving it up,
Yeah, that's what you say.
Same with penalties and things, see, you always think.
Just striving for consistency,
Yeah. You'll always say, like, if you're coming in and one of their players has been sent off and you've got someone on a yellow card, you'll always say to that person, be careful, because the referee, at the slight of anything, will try and even it up. The manager always used to say it to the players because he hasn't made a mistake there, but their manager will think, well, you've made a mistake, so let me try and even it up. So he will try, and it's Mike Dean, Mike likes to be number 1.
More prevalent when it's Mike Dean.
He is a good referee though, but he just
he loves it, doesn't he?
Loves it.
As a forward, did you know you were going to get away with 3 or 4 tackles that your fullback wasn't going to? Because that's become a big thing, hasn't it, for Liverpool and City? Their forwards making those tackles on the halfway line that we saw Zinchenko get sent.
A lot's been made of it, the so-called tactical foul, and as players, if you can get away with it, they're great fouls, but you don't do it when you want to yell and make it as blatant as they did. You know exactly what we're doing, and it's
bit more common sense required there. Nicky Weaver weaving the truth.
Phenomenal. That is absolutely phenomenal. Get a price boost on that, please. Nicky, a lot of people saying that instead of Aguero, they should have looked for Ilkay to come off, maybe.
Plus, I'm surprised the Aguero but I think, if Sterling's up there, he's a lot more mobile. He'll get around a lot. He's going to have to do a lot of work now. Sergio, obviously, not seeing his legs have gone by any stretch of the imagination, but he's not going to get around as much as Sterling is, and Sterling will drop into these areas like he's doing now. And look, De Bruyne is up at the top, so they can be a little bit. There can be a bit of change where Aguero's not really going to drop back into the midfield.
Come on, use the ball better.
How irate are you getting? Tottenham are winning. This is great. This is what we like to see, Clinton. Look, Clinton's having a time of his life here, and you're
just enjoying life.
Losing your head.
But I can see City getting another chance because they're dominating still with 10 men. Keep the ball.
Now the ball's been cleared. City were pressing now. I've been meaning to ask you, Nicky. You're probably the only goalkeeper I've seen that's been pelted with snowballs by the opposition fans.
I ended up signing for that club.
Yeah.
I come out of Super Play. It was one of my last games for Dundee United, and it was snowing, obviously. And went in at half time, and it snowed a lot. I've come back out, and I went towards the Aberdeen fans at Tannadice, Dundee United's ground, and they started pelting me with snowballs, and one got me right on the napper. So, and then a few years later, I signed for Aberdeen.
I remember seeing that. Absolutely unreal stuff, and that's why Scottish football is the king. All right.
I'll give up. Oh. I thought he was going to score there.
Who did we see on the ground there, Will?
Bergwijn.
Yeah,
why is he helping him?
I know.
Stupid.
He'll be off. He'll be off.
Give him a kick.
He's just trying to hurry the game up, but I think he'll be off in a minute.
He'll be off.
Give him the kick there from Dave Jackson.
Yeah, he's helping him out.
Give him a little Hazard ball boy. That's what you want, isn't it?
Hates the professional courtesy being displayed here by Edison, who's stretching the new striker out.
He's broken his leg, hasn't he?
Even.
Chris, we've got a few mini super boosts.
Please, go ahead.
If you fancy HeungMin Son to get the second goal, that is 14-1 as it stands to get the equaliser.
He is their second top goal scorer in the Premier League after Harry Kane with 6, isn't he? So makes sense, Will.
And if you fancy Riyad Mahrez to make amends after that dreadful corner, you can get 9-1 for him to score the next goal as well. A couple of nice mini boosts there.
I see what he done there. He's got cramp, but he could carry on, but he wants to get the applause because he thinks that's the winner.
Clinton, have you ever done that?
Loads of times. A minute
Clinton
to
used
go.
to get cramp in training.
He's not wrong. That was after the warm-up as well.
What do you think of this double substitution, Clinton? We've got Ali coming on.
Dele Alli, he wants to be a bit more, I think, solid in there, and he's brought on Odembele, and then he's bringing on Lamela because Bergwijn's got, obviously, he's picked up a bit of cramp. So Lamela's been good. I think he's been good recently, so I can understand why them substitution, but maybe not Dele Alli, but he probably wants to be a bit more solid, even though they've got the extra man, but he knows what Man City are like. I think Man City will still... There'll be chances in this game for City.
Okay, there we have it.
Taking Aguero off. That's stupid.
I know. That one's bothered Dave massively.
I'd love to get inside Dave's head now. The internal monologue he's having with himself.
I could tell you what's inside Dave's head now. It's not a good thing.
It's not great.
It's not great. No.
It's a little bit like the monk from Meme Machine.
Oh wow! Then he's
right, and Ndombele getting his first touch there. Will?
Yes.
Are people as positive about the outlook of this game as Clinton is, despite the fact he conceded there still will be chances for City?
Yes.
Still got a competition around, haven't we?
AC says it's going to be 1-1 with Mahrez to strike hard into the top corner. So an absolute and that's 10-3 on 1-1 if you want to get on that as well.
Specific there. With
Hello, son.
Yeah!
Price baby!
What a
HeungMin, son.
But Will, what did I say to you about this Ndombele? Look at his feet and look at the pass into Son. It is absolutely brilliant. Get in there. Even look, the old Jose's back. He's celebrating, running down the touchline. That's what we like to see, don't we?
We love it. Inject. We've had two price boosts now. Son, that's his 7th Premier League goal, and it looks like 3 points in the bag to propel Tottenham to 5th.
Look at his feet here. Come on, give him the ball. See you later, Rodri. See ya. And then I'm going to pass it in
Lovely
shift. Great arm. Great take.
Where's Otamendi going?
It's a good finish.
Lovely finish at the near post.
You know where Otamendi's
Should Edison be doing better there?
He's got to buy a ticket to come back in the stadium.
We've got a deflection, gentlemen. It's like Edison may have had it.
They all count.
They do.
But you're all right. He would have saved it. The deflection, the deflection
near post
was massive.
I think once it takes deflection, it's difficult. But I think it's interesting. It's great feet there, clearly, like I said. But I think talked about Rodri earlier on. He's not quite as mobile as Fernandinho, and he's got around him a little bit too easy there. That's his job to stop that. If I'm not saying Fernandinho would have stopped it, but he may have had a better chance of stopping it.
Okay, interesting. And Jose Mourinho, you said you're a fan of Ndombele. He's pretty much laid down the gauntlet to him, hasn't he, recently, saying that he's not played enough football. He's kind of questioned the length of his absences. He's brought him on here and he's got his assist. And he got plenty then for Lyon last season. So he's started to get Ndombele and Lo Celso in that team.
You'll see the best of him next season. Obviously, I think he needs a pre-season under his new manager, Jose. And he's a special talent. I've liked him loads of times. I saw him at Lyon last season and I think he's got ability. But his header, it looks like it hasn't been right because there were times where Jose was questioning him. He was obviously saying he's not fit, and Jose saying, well, the medical staff are saying you're fit. Well, I've never been in a situation like that. If I'm fit, I want to play. Listen, no footballer, I think, ever plays when they're 100% fit. You ask any footballer.
The only day you're 100% fit is the first day of pre-season.
There you go, exactly.
After that, there's always something.
Yeah, exactly. You always pick up a niggle, but you just want to get on with it because you don't like being in that treatment room. It's boring.
Yeah, but you had injuries at 19 and 23, didn't you, Nicky? So how hard was it, being out after, getting a good run in the side?
Yeah, I had probably 6 operations on my right knee.
Just the 6?
Just the 6, yeah.
Crazy,
but it's part and parcel of it. I had really bad ones at City. I was lucky that City sent me over to the States. I went over to America 4 times with 4 operations over there. Unfortunately, I made at 23, 24, I thought I was pretty much done. But I managed to play till I was 35, so...
Class.
So
how long does it take you before you feel like yourself going to have to come back into the...
And also with the sort of emotional side of it, you forget what it's like to cross that white line and the buzz of the crowd. Particularly I felt in goal, I always sort of lived in fear of making a mistake or doing something silly, because in goal obviously you can sort of do that. Any but obviously the more you play, you get back into it. But yeah, sort of one of the biggest things for me at City was when I sort of come back and got back in the team.
Yeah.
After some great goalkeepers had been there while I was injured. Was really satisfying for me.
Yeah, and you had sort of 4 years where you're the first choice, and then of course those injuries hit again. And then was it around 2006 you come back into the side? How was it getting that run of games after being out for so long?
It was difficult. I had a loan spell at Sheffield Wednesday where I played 14 games, which was vital for me. But while I was out injured, the club signed Peter Schmeichel, who played for a season. David Seaman played for 6 months. And then David James come for a couple of years. So
bad, is it?
And then we had Joe Hart and Kasper Schmeichel coming through. So sort of to work with all those goalkeepers, all great goalkeepers in their own right, but all sort of so different. I feel lucky to have worked with all them and learnt certain things off them and stuff. So yeah, so
positives from that tough period.
Absolutely, yeah.
What was your relationship? Say you were first choice goalie at Manchester City. What was your relationship like with the second and third choice keepers?
For me, it was never a problem. I was always fine. For some goalkeepers, you know, it wasn't the other goalkeeper's fault. It was the manager's. You know, I'd always blame the manager. There's that rivalry there, but it's healthy rivalry, I think, most of the time. Obviously, there will be incidents where it sort of flares up and spills over. But you know, if ever the other, I just want them to sort of do well. Like, you know, I never wish bad on anyone. I'd want us to win about 7-6, like, you know. I'd never wish bad on anyone. And, you know, as a fellow goalkeeper, it's such a difficult position to play. You know, I'd want to get back in the team from something that I'd done. And I'd been put back in the team at times when I didn't expect to be, and I'd been taken out of the teams at times when I didn't expect to be.
You see David De Gea struggling for form or to reach the levels he once reached now. A lot of people saying that it's because of the absence of a number 2 who's pushing him day in, day out. How much credence do you give that? Do you need that number 2 knocking on the door to kind of be at your sharpest?
I think it depends on the individual, a lot of it. The pecking order's pretty clear at Man United. You know, you've got Sergio Ramos number 2, Lee Grant number 3, and obviously De Gea out and out number 1. And his form, listen, you set your standards so high, if you come just underneath them standards, people are going to criticise you. But when you're at them top clubs getting paid the vast sums that they get paid, you're going to get criticised for every little mistake you make. But he's certainly, 2-3 years ago, he was for me, probably the best keeper in the world. Where the minute you'd probably say that Edison and Alisson have probably overtaken him in the Premier League. Obviously, they're playing for better teams at the minute as well. So yeah, I think he's a top keeper De Gea, but his levels have just dropped slightly, and at that elite level, a slight drop.
You think they've been magnified a little bit?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Just say that because, of course, Henderson is still a Manchester United player, and he's been absolutely outstanding for Sheffield United this season, hasn't he? Who should be your England? Who do you think England should have in goal for the upcoming Euros?
I think it will be Pickford. I think he's Gareth Southgate's number 1. But I don't think it's as clear cut as it were.
Is he your number 1?
I'd probably say so at the minute, just due to the fact how many games he's played. The other keepers in and around the squad at the minute haven't played that many. You've got Nick Pope, you've got Dean Henderson, who we've just spoken about, Alex McCarthy's doing well, Aaron Ramsdale's doing well at Bournemouth. So there's a good, I think in 3 or 4 years' time, we'll have a really good clutch of England goalkeepers. But at the minute, Pickford's the one, just purely because of his experience that he's had. You know, he was great in the last World Cup, and he's Southgate's out-and-out number 1, I think.
Chris, I've got a stat for you.
Please, mate, love it.
Been verified by nobody, but take it with a pinch of salt. 22 points is a record Premier League lead at any point in any season.
That's just... I don't think anyone thought that a team would be topping City's exploits from, what is it, 17-18? Or what was the...
The Centurion.
The Centurion season.
2 years ago, wasn't it?
I think it was, And already we're seeing Liverpool do that, which is just frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, I think they're playing football. They're getting results that we've never seen before. They're going into places that no one's ever been before, and I think the dynamic of the team. It's young. They're all hungry.
That's scary. Then you look at the game against Everton, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's
the third team.
The next 2 or 3 years, if you're anything to do with Liverpool, is exciting. You know, it's a good time to be alive, I think.
Yeah, and they're now in the enviable position of strengthening their second team. We talk about, you know, the not being great value in the January transfer market, but bringing in Minamino for what, 7 mil? It feels like great business. We'll see how that pans out. And, you know, the likes of Naby Keita's still not really established himself in that side, and he's a hell of a player in his day. So even their second 11 looks pretty.
Their second 11 was still finishing the top 10 in the Premier League. That's what I think. They wouldn't be fighting relegation. They'd be in the top 10. I'm not saying
especially with
Klopp
as top
manager. 10 as Klopp as manager. Yeah, as well. That's how good he is.
He'll probably get Critchley and he'll be on holiday, won't he?
Touching on that, Clinton, it's interesting you say that, and going back to kind of the England setup as well. Do you think Oxlade-Chamberlain deserves a place in England's starting XI, given how good he's been over the
Ox will start. 100%. I think Southgate said that before in the last tournament. He picked up an injury. Oxlade-Chamberlain will start. I think the Ox is a brilliant midfielder. He gives you something different, what England don't have, where he can pick up the ball from midfield and can drive with it. The problem England have is that they have so many good number 10s at the moment. Who are you gonna put in there? No,
here we go!
No, not here we go. There you go, son. Good tracking back. That's what we do, Will. We track back.
Here we go.
But I think they've got so much good number 10s. If you look at it, Maddison, Mount, Jack Grealish, he hasn't even had a cap yet. Will he go to the... That's the problem England have got. Who do they take out of those
Mount
three?
seems to be
his go-to man, isn't it? You got Ross Barkley,
Maddison over Mount.
I think Mount would be my third choice as well at the moment. What about you on this sofa, gentlemen? Who, in your order of preference, number 10s for England? Well, that's not really a position that they play, is it? But
no, I think he'll gravitate towards Mount. I just think he's
because he plays on the left-hand side for Chelsea sometimes, maybe.
Yeah, he's had a few caps. He's had chances to give Maddison a couple of caps and hasn't done. So that's sort of almost a bit of a lack of trust there. Don't quite think he's ready, or
well, Maddison isn't effective for Leicester on the left-hand side as he is in the out-and-out number 10.
Yeah.
And England have not really been playing with number 10 so much in the last 18 months, have
they? For me, Jack Grealish definitely has to go to the Euros for England.
Yeah, he's got to be
without a shadow of doubt. The things that he's doing.
50 chances he's created.
That's what I mean. He's brilliant.
This is at Villa,
and in a game where it's close, he's the one who could go and open it up. He can make something different.
Yeah.
He carries the ball ever so well, and I think he's been brilliant.
So say Villa go down, gentlemen. I want your opinion on this as well as a Birmingham fan. Where does Jack Grealish go in the summer?
I think he could go to an elite club. I think it's going to be huge sums of money to get him out of there, but he'll probably say all the right things. I want to stay at Villa and what have you. But he needs to be playing in the Premier League. He's been that good, but it'll be a shame if Villa go down just because of how good he's been. But if they do go down, I'm sure there'll be one or two people looking to see if he's got a release clause in there.
Pep was flirting with him after the Carabao Cup game, didn't he? Saying that he was a player that he admired and one of the best players in the league.
So the fee that they'd want for him would dictate that he goes to an elite Champions League club. So.
Yeah, I mean, what he's worth to Aston Villa is probably, a little bit disproportionate to maybe his market value, because he's certainly worth triple digits to Aston Villa, isn't he?
Yeah.
100 upwards.
They can't replace him, Aston Villa.
Yeah. Even if they stay up, it's like...
I still think teams... I think someone like a Man United, even a Tottenham...
I hate to see him go to United.
Why is that? Why would you hate to see him go to United?
Yeah, why?
He'll just get lost. Like, if Paul Pogba can't come from Juventus and with all of his ability become like a catalyst for that, I think he'll just get lost in the pack at Manchester United. And with Ollie not being...
What about Arsenal, Dave, then?
I think that kind of midfielder, I think we're right there. I think we need to strengthen, as if we're going to spend that volume of money, I think it'd be better spent elsewhere, kind of thing. I'd definitely take him.
Of course, I agree, yeah.
I mean,
you've got a lot of players who can do
like
that.
David Silva leaving.
Yeah.
But if they bring him in at City, you spoke about Foden getting more minutes earlier. That would be a direct sort of affront to Foden's place in the team, right?
Up on the left, like yesterday, he played left wing. Every time he comes on the right, but still no one can stop him. I think he can play up in that 3, can't he?
For sure.
It's a great.
A question for the guys on the sofa, because we'll get some quick fire questions asked at the end. It looks like Sterling might be going off.
Yeah, he signalled to the bench 5 minutes ago about his hamstring. I think he said there's something wrong with his. He felt the back of his hamstring.
Disastrous day for
Hopefully, it's just a bit of.
You hope it's cramped, because he signalled earlier to Pep that he was struggling.
But it's good that he's walking off, isn't it? He's not having to be carried off. Hopefully, that won't be too extensive, because we do want him in fine form going into the Euros, don't we? Lucas Moura coming off as well for it, Dyer. Very Jose Mourinho, that.
Why?
Let's make the last 10 minutes utterly unwatchable. Thank you, Jose.
Yeah, we might as well just talk then. Right?
You got any plans after this, Clint?
Yeah, what are we doing after this? Why is he put? I don't get it. You're 2-0 up, and I know there's only 7 minutes to go, but you don't need to bring on Eric. Leave Lucas Moura on. Maybe he can try and get a goal to build up some confidence. You bring on Eric Dyer, another defensive midfielder. No, I don't get it.
Right, I've got a question for you all then, just to buy us a bit of time before something happens. So, Jose Mourinho has lost to Pep Guardiola 3 times in the Premier League. He's only lost to one manager more. Who is it? You're saying Klopp? Okay, I will take other guesses.
Was it Jose Mourinho's lost to?
Pep Guardiola 3 times.
3 times.
He's lost to one guy 4 times. Who is it?
Not Jurgen
Steve
Klopp.
Bruce.
Is he still? He's in the Premier League now, still the manager.
I can't give you hints, Clinton, please.
Well, you can tell me if he's still a manager in the Premier League.
This is my game, Clinton. All right, mate.
You see, because that means he's not in the Premier League, or he might be. All right, let me go. I'll throw one out.
Get your guesses in the comments below very quickly. We'll revisit this in 30 seconds.
Wait, hold on. What have you just said? I need the question again.
Who's lost to who?
He's lost to one manager 4 times.
Jose.
Is it
the only manager he's lost
Pep
to
Guardiola has?
more? Yeah, this is Jose Mourinho. Jose Mourinho has lost to Pep Guardiola 3 times. He's only lost to one manager more.
Alex Ferguson.
of shouts here.
Or
you've gone
Sir
Jurgen
Alex
Klopp.
Ferguson
Can
or Arsene Wenger.
can I change my answer, please?
Why, have you just seen the answer in the comments?
No, I've not. This
Yeah,
is
yes, he definitely.
He's cheating, isn't he? Ben?
Yes, mate, he is.
I was going to go. My one was Tony Pulis.
Tony Pulis. Okay.
But, people shouting in with Antonio Conte. Someone, Adam Ellis says Pardew, I reckon.
I was going to say
Arsene Wenger.
No, it wouldn't be Wenger.
Ancelotti.
I think Wenger it could have been.
Big Sam.
No, I did think 4 times.
I've still not heard the name.
We had a horrendous.
Oh, you still ain't heard the name?
I've still not heard the name.
Oh, okay.
What?
He still hasn't heard the name.
Nuno Espirito Santo.
Who is that?
Steve Bruce keeps coming in. Nuno.
All right, you got to give us a clue because we don't know.
I'm going to have to put you out of your misery here, gents.
No.
A clue?
I don't know how compelling this is to watch, to be perfectly honest.
Hughes.
You're one last guess each.
Can you give us a clue?
Give us a
One clue.
Give us a clue, Chris.
But,
Come on.
yeah,
Okay,
one
he's
clue.
not English.
Claudio Ranieri.
Nope.
Oh, that was a good shout. Rafa Benitez by Dion.
Yeah, Benitez.
Yeah, that's a great.
That's it.
I said that earlier on.
The Oracle already said Rafa Benitez, and this is one thing he's not got right. So
Andre Villas-Boas.
I really hope this stat's correct now because I've built it and built
Did we say
it.
Pochettino?
Brendan Rodgers.
Pochettino. Pochettino.
Pochettino?
Yeah, Pochettino.
Poch was taking scouts from Jose.
Oh, is it?
Well, you wouldn't think of it now because he's in the Tottenham job.
Exactly.
So
so where you were going there. Yeah, I
managed
knew
to-
it. Pochettino. Yeah.
It took us 5 minutes, Clint. So come on.
That's longer
I
than
mean, and despite losing 8 times this season, Jose's record in the Prem still 62% win ratio. It's incredible, isn't it? Really.
But the job he done at Man United was brilliant.
Oh, okay.
People say it wasn't good.
Because that definitely is a divisive statement.
So do you not think now with that same group of players that Man United have got now, where did they finish?
People tune in for your
That
opinion,
is, see?
not mine.
No, they're tuning for yours as well. Everyone's entitled to an opinion. Don't worry about that, mate.
I might
we
agree
can have
with
a
you, but
debate about it.
I want to hear from you as well, Nicky. Do you think that the job that Jose did at Manchester United was a good one in retrospect?
Yeah, I think he says it was one of his best achievements, finishing second, I think, that year. And what Man United had to do to finish second this year. So it shows you he probably didn't have the players to challenge where he wanted to at that time. So finishing second was as good as they could do. He won the couple of cup competitions, won the Europa League. So it was. Listen, you ultimately judged on your sort of league titles, I suppose, when you're at that top level that they're at. But I think he did a good job, I think.
All right, 2 questions to the floor then. Now, they're both very compelling arguments. Is Jose the one to lead Tottenham back to Champions League football? And is Ole the one to lead Manchester United back to Champions League football?
This guy just throws in some big
let's start with Jose because that feels a little bit easier. Will, let's start on the end.
I do feel, especially this season, when it's so up for grabs, because everyone just seems to not want that 4th position at the moment, and now they're up to 5th. I think they can do it this season. Long term, I almost just feel like he needs to change in the way he approaches things, because a lot of it now is obviously philosophy based, and if his philosophy is maybe more defensive, but then the Spurs fans are not going to want to see that. So I think there needs to be an alteration in his philosophy. So I just can't see him there as a long-term manager.
Right, so Will questioning if he's attack-minded enough to.
I'd agree with Will. Everything he says
to succeed in the Premier League right now. You agree with everything Will says?
Yeah, he's right. He's
everything
got to change.
I've ever said?
Yeah, not everything you ever said, no. But just everything you just said. Yeah, he's some terrible stuff sometimes. But I think he needs to change and maybe evolve and move on with sometimes his style of football. But it's going to take time. I think this season's a great. It's his best time to try and get into the top 4 because no one wants it.
After this, he's 4 points behind.
Yeah, so this season I think they've got a chance.
They've just beat Manchester City, and we're saying that he needs to change his philosophy. Is it not a matter of these players learning, being more amenable to his ways?
Yeah, maybe, but it will take.
What's happened there with Hugo Lloris?
He just made
He's got cramp.
You think goalie get cramp?
Goalkeeper watch with Nicky Weaver. What's happened?
Nicky said he can't get cramp.
It's actually a decent save. It's sort of a cross with a. I call it a cross with a smile on it, that one. And it looks like it's cramped up.
Cramp though.
That's what I say. I can go. Yeah, I don't know how he can get.
Good save. He's worked his feet well, tipped it over.
We said this at the start, didn't we? That he's not seen a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
Would that
but
play a role?
Even so, I don't.
I think he's there.
Am I doing him a favour there?
He's all right.
I think he's all right. Might be playing for a bit of time there.
Oh, there we go.
City have been so toothless today. They haven't been aggressive. They haven't been as potent as they should be. They've had so many half chances that they just have not taken advantage of.
Ones where they should have shot. Tell you what, that's tasty.
But even that, instead of trying to put that back, it's just.
Do you want Jesus?
Don't want for the record. Spurs have played very well today. I'm not, as much as that pains me to say.
I know it does.
But City are just. I don't know. It's almost like they know
I think
the league's gone.
The game changer today was the penalty.
The chore dog in the gallery has just gone in my ear. We'll clip that one up. You saying Spurs have played well today, so
on repeat.
Let's get that as a gift.
If Jesus there could have scored if you want him for the third goal with a matter of minutes left, 22-1. A little poacher's finish. Clint, you're having a little smirk on that there.
I'm having a smirk, but I can't see it. If I'm being honest.
Well, 5 minutes though, mate. Come on.
5 minutes, Clint. Price boost. You could come on.
I can see it. I can see it. He might get in.
Ref, send him off.
And there.
5 minutes. That's pretty substantial, isn't it?
5 minutes. Look what they did in Barcelona and Munich against
we won't go into the Ollie stuff because everyone's bored to tears with Manchester United at the moment. Let's talk about if Manchester City score that penalty, and obviously everyone's not got a crystal ball here, but Spurs and Jose Mourinho, are they well equipped to come from behind against the side like City? Would you have backed them?
I think it would have been a different game. I just said it to Nick. I think if that penalty goes in, City are confident and they're free flowing. It's difficult. Tottenham have to come out and try and get an equaliser, and the pace City have on the attack, it would be a different game, and they'll be confident. So that's a game-changing moment. The miss from Gundogan, but you can say miss, but I'd agree it's a good save from
Great
the
save, but if it goes in, it's a complete. Goals change games, and if that goes in, your money would be on City to go on and finish the job off. But it didn't, and Spurs capitalised. Fantastic first goal, 2 good finishes. Well, the second one got deflection, but yeah.
Oh, look at that! Who's that, Messi?
Hello.
Ndombele, baby.
Told you the
back post.
He's been great.
I tell you, Lo Celso's had a great game as well.
Yeah, I mean, seeing those as a double pivot must be very exciting.
I've told you I'm excited. I've been talking about this guy for a long time. Just please trust me. He'll be a good player. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to say too much because everyone will think, well, do you know him personally?
Do you know?
No, that's the one person
Can he get you free tickets?
Yeah. Can he? Hey, what happened, Will, with the free tickets? Not getting no love.
They said they'll be in the post. And just get in touch personally if you want them. That's from Spurs themselves. That's from Jose himself there, Clint.
Tell Jose I said thanks very much.
Great manager and still got the time to reach out for fans as well.
Brilliant.
So top bloke, really.
Tell him I'll be a ball boy.
Nicky, is saving a penalty the closest thing to in terms of a goalkeeper? I think the closest thing to scoring. The jubilation.
It's a specific moment, isn't it? A save subject you might think is a great save, I might think, but saving a penalty is a specific moment, and I don't think it. I don't think it makes you a great goalkeeper, but it's a specific moment, and in this game, it's been the turning point in the game. Then obviously the sending off.
Low and hard. Why is he not gambling there?
See, there was your Jesus. Yeah, you're right, Will. You tell him, mate. Jesus has to gamble across the near post. You're spot on.
Absolute poacher.
You'll be a manager, one day. I can see it, mate.
I've got blues up on Football Manager, but I don't want to get into that now. There we go.
Sergio Aguero makes a chance like that, though, doesn't he?
Exactly. He's on the first post, the front post, isn't he? The post that hurts the most. Come on. Turn around.
Tottenham play like they've got 10 men. 10 men, They can't even get out. It's City that are pressing. They've got the extra man.
There's a little bit of you die inside when you see Eric Dyer come on when you've got the numerical advantage. Clinton.
Just because he's a defensive player, and I just would have loved to have seen another attacking player go on and just been a bit more positive. I know you're winning and but it's 2-0.
Yeah, no comment on Eric Dyer, but you want to see him get the finish.
Yeah, I want to see him go and get free, and I'll leave Moura on and let him get his confidence and try and get a goal and stuff like that. But Jose knows what he's doing. He's won that much trophies. I can't question what he's doing, and Tottenham have had a fantastic win today, because I am going to say win, even though there's 5 minutes.
Big call with 90 seconds left.
Okay, mate.
Tell you what, though, they could have been a hairy last 5 or 10 minutes. The City have sort of...
They don't seem to be busting the gut, do they?
They've had a couple of half chances, though.
Dave?
Just
tough day.
It has. It's not been the best of days.
You're all right, mate. Come on.
You've got 1 more point than you had this morning.
This is true. This is true. I thought this was like the guaranteed 3 points for City, man.
That's why we got
I think everyone thought that.
Yeah. 2 losses in a row now for City. Man United in the week.
There we go. The dynasty's crumbling.
So that second place, which I thought was easily City's, is still up for grabs.
City will finish.
I still think they'll finish.
What I would say is that not so much now at Tottenham, because he's not been there long enough, but Jose used to out of all the managers and the top elite teams, used to have the biggest influences on the big games.
Big games, yeah.
He used to really get mind games and all that, really talk about referees and the detail he go into with the opposition. He used to have a real big influence on that. And he's obviously, looks like he's come out on top today.
Do we think, okay, so Liverpool, Manchester City, Leicester, feels like it's almost
Let's
set in
sing this
stone.
up. Go marching in. Come on, Dave, please sing it.
I'm not singing.
When the Spurs go marching.
Go on, say one back.
I love winding him up. Oh my God! He hit the bar.
Oh wow, what happened there?
Oh, it's nearly an own goal from Sanchez.
The ball just completely disappeared.
They've had more chance in the last 10 minutes than the...
Jose definitely rode his luck today, but Tottenham deserved that 3 points. That's the game done and dusted. It's not been a great Sunday for Dave Jackson. It has for Clinton Morrison.
Woo! I still love you, Dave, but man,
he's clapping his team off.
It's not been a good season for us. I like it. Dave's clapped there. See, that's why I got respect for the man.
Bergwijn, wow, what a day for him.
Nicky Weaver, not a great result, but a great debut from Nicky. And there we have it. We'll have 5 minutes or so of your questions fired out to the guys, so get them in the comments. If you're not subscribed to the channel, Soccer AM and Football Daily, hit that subscribe button now, because we will be back on the Football Social next week. We'll bring you details in just a second.
Wowee.
Well, let's get the comments coming in, Will.
Yes, people, Liverpool fans jumping in thick and fast there. 22 points, like we said, a record league at any time. Obviously, football did start in 1992, and the Premier League record stands there for that points total. City fans a bit disgruntled with some of Pep's decisions.
Which ones in particular?
Talking about Ilkay Gundogan, Aguero not taking the penalty as well. So
okay, similar thoughts to the guys in the studio. Interesting.
Nick, would you have done anything different there?
I think it's easy to say once he's missed a penalty.
It's hard to question Pep as well, isn't it?
It's hard to question Pep, but if Gundogan's the nominated penalty taker, then he's obviously must do it in training, he must be good. But as a striker, you'd surely, especially with someone with the sort of clout that Aguero's got, it's almost a free goal for you.
Should be grabbing the ball, man. This is
that's what I think. But hey, Pep knows a lot more than me. But yeah, a bit strange why he took it. But they've missed. They've not got a great recent record of penalties.
One here from Ramos. Clint, what did you make of Bergwijn's debut? Obviously, the goal rounds it off.
What more can you want? You score on your debut, and it's a really good goal. And it was the goal that actually got Spurs the victory, because the first goal is always important. It's a great finish as well. And I thought he looked lively. Obviously, he doesn't look as sharp as he probably should have done. You can see him getting cramp. He's only been with his teammates a few days, but I think it could be a really good signing for Tottenham. And at something like £30 million, it could be a huge star there at White Hart Lane. You know, Tottenham fans always like a star, and he actually could be a star, and it could be something that they needed. It gives them, that could get them into the Champions League. His performances, you know, you've got no Harry Kane, and you need like a transfer to come in and give you a lift. That could give Tottenham a big lift.
In that instance, is the goal more important than his performance, because you've made some big money signings that haven't really embedded themselves into the side very quickly, and that's just going to do wonders for
you. You always worry where the goals are going to come from with no Harry Kane. So if you've got him stepping up to the mark, obviously it's a big boost. Son scores again today. He can get his confidence. You want Lucas Moura to get goals. Dele Alli, you need goals from everywhere. You have to share the goals, because Harry Kane's brilliant. He scores most of Tottenham's goals, and they were shared out. But credit to Bergwijn, he done ever so well, and I think he'll be a really good signing.
The way it could be going as well, I don't know the maths officially, but we could be seeing a guard of honour at the Etihad.
Yeah, I heard that.
Double jeopardy there for Manchester City. Well, let's see what this does to the complexion of the league table, starting at the top. That 22 points buffer. Is Buffer underselling it at this point? Stands. Tottenham, though, climb to 5th, and now they're only 4 points away from Champions League football. And I do want to discuss the differences between Chelsea and Tottenham at the end of the show, because I don't think there's that much between them in terms of their starting 11s. Quick look at the bottom.
That's tight.
So not much changes, of course. Burnley, very valuable point for them. It sees them climb to 11th. West Ham, like we said at the start of the show, dragged into the relegation scrap, and I really do fear from them. Moyes has saved them once. Can he do it again? Right, and I'm just hearing, gentlemen, that we can actually hear from the goal scorers right now. So let's go over to them.
Sonny and Stephen, first of all. Stephen, as debuts go for a new club, how was that?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. it's a dream for me that come true, and I'm so happy to be here and to make a goal for the Spurs.
Not just make a goal, but score a fantastic goal. We saw the look on your face. What did it mean to you?
Yeah, everything. As a little kid, you want to be here, you want to play in the Premier League, and if you can score in your debut, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Also, we saw the familiar goal-scoring celebration. You've always done it. What's the story behind it?
Yeah, just a story between my friends. Once they said, do this when you score, and since then I do this.
Sonny, do you think he needs to work a bit on that celebration? Not quite as imaginative as yours.
No, I think it's emotional because it's first goal. We are so happy because he scored first goal on his debut. Well deserved. But, you know, with emotional, always looks great.
How much did you have to, at times, hang on in there, particularly in the first half?
Yeah, of course, Manchester City is one of the teams who always been so good. And, yeah, sometimes we had to defend all together. But, you know, second half, we came out strong. This guy scored amazing goal, and I think the lads have done really good job.
Takes you up to fifth as well, even more important.
Yeah, I think it's an amazing feeling. You know, like before, of course, we have a cup game, but I think before winter break, I think we are so good and very good confidence. And look at the fans, you know how they're happy, and look at the players smile after the games. I think this is very important to win.
Well, let's ask the new man, Stephen. What did you make of the stadium, the atmosphere, and everything today?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. When I came in, I looked up, and yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
A fantastic start. Well done today.
Thank you.
It's the stuff that dreams are made of, aren't they? What a start for him.
A debut for the young man. I think it's safe to say that you're impressed with him.
Yeah.
So Chelsea and Tottenham, both 2 wins in their last 5. Who do we think is the outstanding candidate for 4th? Because I really don't think there's much between the two.
It's a tough one, that, isn't it?
And not that the wheels have come off at Stamford Bridge, but we're maybe starting to see a fair reflection of where the side are at, because the youngsters were definitely overperforming, in my opinion, at the start of the campaign. So, as Arsenal, an Arsenal fan, who do you see more as direct competition for that 4th place spot at this point, after that impressive result?
Yeah, I think obviously because Chelsea are in the hot seat, it's theirs to lose. I think the key man for Spurs is Jose. He even like today, despite we were having a go at him, he brought on what's his name, Dyer. All his job to do today was to win. You know what I mean? He could have easily left Lucas Moura on. He could potentially get injured. Then they're left with 0 strikers, especially with Harry Kane out. But he made the sub to bring Eric Dyer on, just wrap up that 3 points, and then he's got 2 weeks now away with the not international break, whatever this thing is going to call it, winter break, and then they're going to go again. Whereas you look at Chelsea. They've got. I think it's now more of a better reflection of where that current team is. As you said, I think they definitely overperformed for the first 4 or 5 months of the season. I think Man United, I don't think they're going to get anywhere near the top 4. With all due respect, Arsenal, it's just too many draws. Like every time the teams around us have dropped points, we fail to then take the 3 points. So you're looking, it's probably going to be a little bit too far for us now. The Sheffield United, they keep playing. You know, they keep winning. The thing about Sheffield United is all they've got is the league to concentrate on. They can go each game, boom, 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 just win that, or just don't lose it. And then, you know, if you look at the way the thing's going to go, they'll be there or thereabouts, wouldn't they? Wolves, they're in like the Europa League. I think they might be spread a bit too thin. But who's most likely to get that 4th? So I think you probably still got to say Chelsea, at least for another couple of games, and then we'll see where there is after.
Nice. In agreement, Clinton?
Yeah, I think it's Chelsea's to lose. I think Frank's been a bit frustrated in this transfer window. He didn't get the players that he wanted in. I still think they needed another striker to complement young Tammy Abraham. A lot of the burdens on his shoulders. I think they wanted to bring in a fullback. So there's a few players that they wanted to do, and Frank's done a terrific job. Him and Jody Morris have been excellent with the youngsters, and the youngsters have come of age. I like Reece James. I think he's probably the best out of the youngsters at the moment. He's going to be a star, the right back. So they've done excellent. But Tottenham have to just keep going and keep believing, because when Chelsea slip up, like they did yesterday with a draw, Tottenham have to win, and no one thought they'd beat Man City today. So it's a confidence booster. Tottenham got an FA Cup replay game against Southampton this week. Then they can go on their break and they can recharge the batteries and come again. But I think it's Chelsea's to lose at the moment. But you have to keep going and keep believing. And you have to give special credit. I know I can't believe I'm going to say this, but to Sheffield United, because they've been excellent. Chris Wilder's
superb job. And they've got an outside chance. Don't ever rule them out. They're beating teams. You never know. It could be done.
And it would be in really meaningful ways in January. Sander Berg in particular, we were saying, is an outstanding signing for them. But Tottenham now secured this result without their talismanic striker. They've made that big money signing in January, and there's players to return like Davies, Sissoko, crucial components to the first XI. Do you still think the pendulum is swinging in Chelsea's favour for fourth?
I just think, because they've got 4 points the difference now, so I think that's a big thing. Obviously, when they meet each other later on in the season will be a huge game as well. And I think that just the two clubs are similar in the way they're a bit of transitional period at the minute. Obviously, Chelsea have not been able to sign anyone for quite a while. Both got relatively new managers, sort of betting in exactly how they want to play. So I think it's going to be a big summer for both clubs. But I think at the minute Chelsea are just going to edge it. But that one weekend, the results go, it could soon change.
Yeah, and we want there to be an interesting component to this Premier League season. A team running away with it by 22 points. That last fourth spot, that last Champions League spot is really exciting. Will, what are your thoughts on it, mate?
I was just looking at the fixtures to come up there. Actually, Tottenham versus Chelsea is on the 22nd of February, so not that far away. But Chelsea, next 4 games, they've got United, Spurs, Bournemouth away and Everton. So three very tough ones there. And I just think I like a bit of momentum, and Spurs, with this result there, this could bleed into the rest of the season. A win against the current champions is absolute momentum builder, isn't it? So Jose knows how to play the games as well off the pitch against maybe an inexperienced Frank Lampard, get in the head. Maybe we could have a bit of Kevin Keegan moments, hopefully. We need something with Liverpool dominating, so you just never know.
Wow, truly seminal then, in Will's opinion. We can actually hear from Jose. Let's see if he's in a good mood post-match.
Well done. Was that classic Jose, that victory?
No. We had a good work. We worked very hard during the week. I'm so pleased for the boys. We can look at the perspective of we were a bit lucky in a couple of situations. They hit the post or they miss a good chance. But we can see in the other perspective and say that we were very, very unlucky that the VAR didn't decide for a Sterling red card, which is a clear red card. And from that moment, obviously, it's a completely different game if we have to play 75 minutes or something like that against 10 men. So 11 against 11, really difficult, hard, but my boys very well organized, great effort, great discipline. We know how we can score goals. We know how we cannot score goals. So we were waiting for our chances, and then when with one player more, I know that they are top quality. I know that one player less is not a big deal for them. The way they move the ball, the way they give dynamic to their game. But in that moment, we had our chances to score, and we did, and very important 3 points for us.
Why are you so definite that it was a red card for Sterling?
Because I see other situations. I see when the decision is a red card. I see the red card of Son against Chelsea. For me, it's a direct red card.
In the first half, how concerned were you, though, when you were at times really under siege?
But that's Man City. Is the champion. Is a fantastic team with players technically really good. We don't have the capacity to play with a front man that holds the ball and allow us to come out of the pressure and to keep ball possession. When we recover the ball, we have only one way to get out, and that's not keeping possession of the ball. So against City, they love the ball. They know better than anyone to know what to do with the ball. So when they have the ball for the majority of the time is hard. But I think fantastic performances, great concentration. I think the way Celso and Wings, they control Kevin De Bruyne, the movements that he does in these areas, and Lo Celso, the way he controls also that position where Sterling comes inside and Gundogan supports there. I think the boys were phenomenal in their effort. Goalkeeper saved the penalty. I think was God's will because it's not a penalty. So, but our goalkeeper is fantastic and he's there to try to give us points.
What would you say, not just about the performance of your debutant, Steven Bergwijn, but also the quality of his goal, the take, the dispatch?
Yeah, you know, it's a great pass, I think, Lucas, but then so sharp, technically so comfortable, chest, volley, unstoppable even for a great goalkeeper like Edison is.
As soon as Sonny scored, you were speaking to him. What were you saying?
I was telling him that between, you know, I don't like to speak about this, but I have to say, if I have on the bench fresh attacking players, I can do things that in this moment I cannot do. So my attacking players, they have to go until their limits. And was the limit for Son, was the limit for Lucas. I could bring only Lamela in, and it's difficult for the boys. But what I was saying in that time is that even tired, the one that was playing as a 9, let's say, when the block was lower, had to drop and get the position of Rodri, forget the centre-backs with the ball. And for the one on the left side, with 15 minutes to go and winning 2-0, it's just an extra effort. But in this moment, it's not zonal anymore. In this moment, it's to chase Kyle Walker and to help Tanganga to defend.
What does this victory, the manner of it, give you more than the 3 points over Manchester City in terms of the charge for top 4?
It's going to be difficult, honestly. It's going to be difficult. We are in 3 competitions. We have a game in 2 days. If I don't have Dele Alli, I don't have for sure Steven, because he cannot play the replay of the FA Cup. We are in trouble. And when we start Champions League and playing every 2 matches, Aston Villa, 2 days later we get Leipzig, 2 days later we go to Chelsea, 2 days later hopefully we have FA Cup. We are going to be in trouble. We have players for positions. It's not a problem to when Ben Davies is back. Ben Davies, Tanganga is not a problem. Vertonghen, Alderweireld. We have positions where it's not a big deal, but up front is difficult. So it's going to be difficult. But it was a good weekend because we got 2 points to Arsenal, to Chelsea, to Leicester, to Wolves. We didn't lose points for Sheffield. Was good for us, obviously against the champions, still the champions, but fantastic team, even if they are going to lose the title.
Thanks, Jose.
Thank you. Jamie, see you later.
Well, plenty to say there, but it was an action-packed game, and he signalled out Lo Celso's efforts in particular. Clinton, impressed with him in midfield, the Argentine?
Yeah, Lo Celso and Harry Winks. I thought they were both brilliant, and he's right. They did a job in there. Lo Celso hasn't played as much as he probably would have this season. Sissoko's been playing in there. I think they'll miss Sissoko. He's obviously had an operation. He's one that can come back into the team. But Lo Celso and Winks, I thought they were a different class in there, because you've got to realise they're playing against De Bruyne and Gundogan. They've got some good midfielders in there, and they handled their own in there. So that's where Tottenham have struggled recently. Everyone's talking about how they need midfielders, but I thought them two were excellent.
Right, let's have some final questions then, because that was more of a short film and less of a post-match interview, wasn't it? So let's get some final thoughts in the comments, and then we'll plug next week's show, mate.
First one, lots of people just wanted to know people's man of the match. Do we look past Steven Bergwijn for that, Nicky?
I think as far as debuts go, his goal was fantastic. He was almost crouching down as he hit it. I don't think you can underestimate how important Lloris's save were as well. But I'd say, yeah, Bergwijn, as debuts go, it's about as good as you get, I think.
About you, Clint?
Yeah, I'd agree. It was a great one. He scored a goal. Goal scorers should always get man of the match.
We mentioned it before as well. 22nd, Chelsea versus Tottenham. As it stands, which way do you see that one going?
Obviously, there's a bit of football to be played before that, but as Jose said there, they've got some injury problems stacking up in forward areas. So at the minute, they're on the back of a fantastic result, but it's going to be a tight game, and it could be one that ultimately decides the 4th spot.
And that game's at Chelsea, isn't it? Because when Chelsea played Tottenham at Spurs, they absolutely battered them. So Tottenham will have to turn up, because Chelsea were different class that day, and Tottenham looked like a better team at the moment. So that will be a deciding moment, because if Chelsea win that, they'll definitely get the top 4.
Well, talking of fixtures, we're back on the 17th with Chelsea versus United. That could be massive in that Champions League run. 7:30, Soccer AM and Football Daily's YouTube pages.
Sam Obaseki making his debut, that one.
OK, I wondered why you perked up there.
Yeah, big time.
Off camera then, during the Jose Mourinho interview, Dave turned to me and he went, I knew today was going to be a
our note to end on. It's been great for Clinton.
Great show, though, David.
Great show. Thank you very much, Clinton. Nicky making his debut. You too, as always. Thanks for watching.
It's the best picks? Yeah. My top three would probably be Henry, Shearer, Aguero. Probably that top three like that. Yeah, it would be. Because
Not Morrison?
No, Morrison. Clinton Morrison probably be about fourth.
Gotta be! I'll be here!
Working today. Oh, hold on, there's a goal.
Oh, hit the post.
I told you there was nearly a goal.
Nicky, what's happened there?
Have a little look.
Oh, it's been given! It's been given!
Get it!
It's a spot.
Yeah! Get it!
Oh no, we've not got back-to-back penalties, have we?
I think when I walked in, he told me we were going to get 30 goals that year.
I lied. Go on, son. That's a foul. Wait, he takes from Harry Winks. Yeah, he's off.
Hey, see you, mate!
He's off.
See you, pal!
This. Get
On his debut! He was in the prize boost winning it! It's come full circle!
Clinton, have you ever done that?
Loads of times. A minute
When you used to get cramp in training.
Yeah. Hello, son!
Yeah! Prospects, baby! What a goal!
HeungMin, son!
No, but Will, what did I say to you about this Odembele? Look at his feet and look at the pass into Son. It is absolutely brilliant. Get in there. Even
This game's finished. I'm fuming.
It's not finished, David.
Can I change my answer, please?
Why have you...
Is he not gambling there?
See, there was your Jesus. Yeah, he's got it. You're right, Will. You tell him, mate. Jesus has to gamble across the near post. You're spot on.
Just
Tough day.
it has.
Dave, please sing it.
I'm not singing.
When the Spurs go.
Go on, say one back.
I love winding him up.